mornings.
Will Anderson, you've been targeted.
It's too early for advertising. Skip.
The adverts are in your home.
Spam on my fridge now? No. Unsubscribe.
You're being influenced.
I don't want any of this. Are you listening to me?
When the whole world's gone ad.
Oh, we're listening.
Thank goodness there's Gruen. Back Wednesday, May 15 on ABC TV and always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio.
ABC Sport Digital. And take us with you on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
The Bombers are back at home under the roof at Docklands. They've travelled 4 times in the first 8 weeks, but they are hoping to make this their fortress again under coach Brad Scott. The Dons looking to make a giant statement. They haven't beaten any side above 11th so far. Can they take down Adam Kingsley's team, who have lost only 5 of their last 21 games? Greater Western Sydney looking to honour one of their greatest ever players in Kel Ward, who celebrates game number 300 today. Corbin Middleman's with you at Dockland Stadium. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. There is no late change between the Bombers and the Giants. Ben Hobbs, for the second week running, is the sub for the Bombers. And Harvey Thomas, the only teenager involved in the game, is the sub for the Giants. Joel Peterson's here to call the game with me. G'day, Joel.
Hey, Corb. Good to be here. You feel like the opportunity's there for the Bombers, as you said, to make a statement today. But really, so much of the story is about Callan Ward. 300 games. As you said earlier, Mick Malthouse described him earlier today as a warrior. He's exactly that. One of my all-time favourite players, especially back in the day when he was repping those lovely, long, luscious locks. These days, it's a more clean-cut approach, but it's always business with Callan Ward, and looking forward to seeing him go about it this afternoon.
17th season, Foundation Giant, their inaugural captain. Beautiful nickname of Cement Head, which is a popular one in the AFL. 103rd player in VFL AFL history to reach the 300-game milestone, which is really the number in the game if you are to amount so many. It would be phenomenal to think that you could play 300 games in VFL AFL footy. Just so happens one man here has. His name is Mark Murphy, the 300-game champion from the Carlton Football Club. Hello, Murph.
Corbin, Joel, Paulie, good to be here. He's been an absolute superstar, hasn't he? And I was lucky enough to get a message from the Giants media department to send through a message. I've been lucky enough to know Cal through our wives, and
wow.
He's one of those guys that you look at and you'd love to play with. Yeah. So,
well, deliver it for us now. What did you tell him?
Well, I think universally, like everyone who would have played with him or against him would just love him as a player because of the way in which he goes about it. Everyone thinks he's so hard and courageous, which he is, but he's very skillful, got a great step. He brings others into the game. So that's one thing that I've always admired about him, was the way in which he's able to create space for his teammates and give them the ball in a better position. And he always stands up when it's required.
One man who's a lock on Saturday afternoons is the Premiership player from the Collingwood Football Club, former Saint. He's worked in every administration role in the game in Luke Ball. Hello, Bally.
Hi, Corby. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And, echo those thoughts, Murph, Callan Ward. What a beauty, what a star. I think I certainly played one of his first or second or handful of games way back then when I was at the Saints. And I remember lining up on him. And I heard a bit about him with the same manager and Paul Connors. And as you do back then, I'd been around for 4 or 5 years, so I tried to sort of impose a bit of physical sort of presence on the young fella in his first couple of games, and he didn't say anything. He just went harder and harder at the footy, and that's what he's done for 300 games. So what an absolute champ, and you'd imagine they'll put on a good performance for him today.
Both teams and the umpires are lined up on the edge of the centre square. It's been a tragic week for the footy community after the news on Thursday night, the sad passing of former Giant Cam McCarthy.
Teammates and footy. And on behalf of the AFL, the GWS Giants and the Essendon Football Club, we extend our deepest condolences to those who knew him. And Vale Cam. Thank you.
Just 29 years of age, a true tragedy, a word that we throw around far too often in the sporting universe. Played 70 games for 2 clubs after being picked 14 to the Giants back in 2013. He led Fremantle's goal kicking in 2017. And Varley, Cam McCarthy with his image on the big screen, and of course so close to so many Giants. He was a housemate of Josh Kelly when he first made the trip across, drafted in the same year along with Tom Boyd all those years ago at the Giants, paying tribute to him on social media in the last 48 hours. Jess Webster is the fifth member of our team on the boundary line. Jess, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Cooper. Yes, a real sombre moment here pre-game as we acknowledge Cam McCarthy. There's a really big crowd building here today for this one. It's also the annual Challenge Cancer Game for Essendon, raising funds and awareness to tackle childhood cancer, and a really lovely moment pre-game with players and many young fans running through the banner together. So a lot on the line for these two sides. Can't wait to watch this contest unfold from ground level.
Kids are at Tullamarine during the week. They've all designed the Bombers' boots, so you'll see the kids' drawings on the players' boots throughout the afternoon, which is a beautiful touch. And the yellow armband on the jumper, which started with Adam Ramanauskas' fight all those years ago.
And drew pictures for him in the player introductions on the big screen as well. Some of them very good likenesses.
Here we go. The Bombers and the Giants. What a round of footy it's been with all the top 8 teams playing one another. Let's see how the Bombers measure up to the Giants from Western Sydney as round 9 continues on ABC Sport. You're with Joel Peterson.
So Goldstein and Briggs sizing one another up, and Callan Ward stands just aside the centre circles in game 300, the Giants' games record holder in his milestone match. Briggs immediately pumps the Giants inside the forward 50. Riccardi up to meet it. It spills the way. A clearing kick of Cornelio. Got it toward 30 of goal. Durham's back there for the Bombers. Loops the hand pass out wide to Goldstein. Outer side wing. Back on the diagonal for Martin. And they generate some run immediately. Merritt on the left boot. Kicks to centre half forward. Stretching Stringer. Iden there. Knocked it away. Down low is Callaghan. He's ripped into the turf. Nick Hine got a hold of him, and immediately a ball up, this time inside forward 50. Bombers into attack.
Anyone tipping the upset?
Giants entitled to be favourite, but yeah, Bombers certainly a lot more reliable, Corb, so absolutely, big show.
Briggs wins it down to Hind, kicks to full forward for the Bombers, hand on it from Buckley, eventually scoops it up, hand pass away towards Perryman, kicks out to half-back, here's Cornelio, shakes the Hind tackle, still at half-back, lifts a hand pass inside to Kelly, trying to go to 1-2, Cornelio clever, knocks it back inside to Ward, tackled hard by Wright, ball comes out, Giants win it through Taylor. High up and under down the wing, getting to the drop is Mackay, and he takes the intercept mark in front of the benches. No late change coming in, the two subs, Harvey Thomas for the Giants and Ben Hobbs for the Bombers. 70 seconds in, no score on ABC Sport.
Mackay to Kelly. Now inside the defensive 50 to Laverty. Goes off with a gallop, touches it down on the turf and pops the handball out wide to Martin. Out to McGrath.
Career best year, Andy McGrath, rewarded with a big contract extension last week.
Long right foot kick to half forward. Harry Jones in the pack. Himmelberg across to bash it away. Spills into Bombers' hands though. Caldwell. Handball to Durham. Couple of country Victorian kids combine, and the kick's dropped into the arms of Goldstein. Inside the forward 50, he's 40 out directly in front.
About the wily old veteran, Murph. I just watched him then. He couldn't impact the aerial contest, and he took a bit of a chance there for sure, but just sneaking out the back, the young Briggs getting caught up in the contest, and Sam Durham, who, speaking of career best years, well, we know he's exploded onto the scene this year, was good enough to find him.
35 years of age, Todd Goldstein, 2 goals on the year already. And he can't land a major blow with his opening shot here. It's a minor score. Essendon on the board, 2 minutes gone. Opening term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Going to play against his old team next week, Todd Goldstein. Lifelong Essendon fan, and he spent the majority of his career at North. His dad actually a 40-year member of the Bombers, Todd Goldstein.
Right. He's pretty happy with the move, I would have thought.
Yes. Lockie Ash marks the kick out in the back pocket, goes long down the outer wing, hitting up Riccardi, gets a shove in the back. It's going against Laverty, and he takes the free on that city wing. Giants all in orange with the white shorts and the white G on their jumper.
Good kid, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I like it.
The Bombers in their home strip with the black shorts and the red sash. Long kick down towards Hogan, who hits up and marks between wing and half forward. Pokes his pass out wide to Nick Haynes, who's back in the team today. Short kick inside 50, and Daniels hugs it to his chest up against the boundary line. 45 out, right half forward.
Yeah, it was methodical ball use. They're known for going quick off their half-back line, the Giants, but then it was just composed football. Hogan met the ball at its highest point. That'll be a really good matchup, see Mackay against Hogan. And
right foot against the fence, tries to straighten up, hits up Cornelio, and he outmarks Parrish. Takes it right half forward. He'll kick on a 45-degree angle.
They're very unselfish there. Always a tough little spot there in the junction, and Cornelio was very smart there. Just to point to his right thigh, just to say, just put it in my little direction here. Parrish just zoned off it just a touch too long.
This last 3 with a knee complaint. Steve Canelio, he's back today. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. His drop punt sails goalward. It's across the face and helped through for a minor score. So a point each. We're 4 minutes in. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemash, Joel Peterson, Jess Webster on the boundary, Mark Murphy and Luke Ball, your call team. Under the roof at Docklands. No late change coming in.
Mason Redmond ambles out of fullback. Chips short to the right back pocket for McGrath. Now out to Caldwell. Right. Teal boots on as Jai Caldwell, the Golden Square product, kicks a long ball up to the AFL logo. Broadcast side of the ground. Right stood in front of Taylor. Brought it down to the front of the pack. Callahan's there for the Giants. Got it back to Ash. Defensive hand pass to Kelly. Kicks off a step to the edge of the 50. And again presenting strongly is Hogan. He's marked inside the centre square. Green's out at left half forward. Kicks to the pocket. Daniels the target. Good body work from Kelly. Strong defensively. Takes the mark in the right back pocket.
Oh, dangerous kick. Jones sweating on that. That's Darcy Jones for GWS, but in the end it got to Martin. He takes the mark. Hits up Redmond. Left half back for the Bombers. Goes long out towards that City wing. Buckley comes through to lend a hand. Takes the intercept mark. Keeps it in the front half for the G-men. Just dabs the pass short down towards half forward. Nick Haynes again. Between wing and half forward. 5 and a bit minutes in. And behind each to start. Essendon home game under the roof at Docklands. No late change coming in as Haynes puts it to the hot spot. Laverty back courageously. Spills it at the last moment. Falls down to Goldstein. Hand pass to Martin. He's locked up straight away. And a ball up in the right forward pocket for the Giants. 0437 774 774 the SMS number. And the Hawks hanging on to beat the Saints in the earlier game. Full time in Launceston.
The stoppage. Parrish to Martin. Wobbly kick, scrubs along the turf as far as Langford, knocked it only into the path of Tom Green to Toby Green from tight in the boundary line, kicks to full forward. Riccardi pulls in the mark at point blank range, but it'll have to go around on the angle in the left forward pocket. Should have no trouble from here and gets the first of the ball game. Jake Riccardi has the Giants on the board in a major sense. 1-1-7. The Bombers 1 behind. 6 minutes gone. Opening term. Your experts on ABC Sport, Luke Ball and Mark Murphy.
It's a clever kick from Toby Green, wasn't it, Murphy? He looked inside, he had time, assessed his options and saw that Riccardi had a one-on-one deep in the goal square. Instead of lobbing it, wasn't it? It was a real sort of dart. It was a punchy, sort of more of a 5-iron than a 9-iron, and it just put it to advantage. And Jake Riccardi was good enough to do the rest. A goal from turnover, pretty sloppy defensive 50 exit from Nick Martin. And then it's an interesting watch. The Giants, we know, are so good. Number 2 in the comp behind the Swans. Scoring from turnover. So in terms of controlling the footy out of half-back, that's really one thing the Bombers need to be mindful of today. And they're number 2, conceding scores from turnover. So that's a critical part of the game today.
Durham standing next to Tom Green at the restart. Goldstein won it down. Durham hand passes it in towards Green's head. And then Goldstein's head, and Tom Green kicks it hurriedly inside the forward 50. And Hogan just out-muscles Ben Mackay, wins the one-on-one hands down at centre-half forward for the Giants.
You mentioned, Murph, it's going to be a key battle. And we know that Ben Mackay's been a key in for the Bombers this year, and he's been able to do a really good job against the big bruising forwards from other teams, but Hogan's going to really test him today. Already we've seen his ability to get up the ground. He's got a massive aerobic capacity, but that time he just stood shoulder to shoulder and out-muscled him.
He goes back through his routine. Jesse Hogan, a little stunner step approach, 45 metres out, drop punt sails goalward, and the big men are involved early for the G-men. They got the first 2. The Giants 2-1-13, Essendon 1 behind. We've travelled 8 minutes into the opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, there you see the benefit of winning that centre clearance. And, yeah, you talked then, Paulie, about the aerobic capacity of Jesse Hogan. That was the thing that I was alluding to earlier, was more just the work rate around ground and getting those lead-up marks. That's one where you think Ben Mackay should have one over him, being the size that he is. But Jesse Hogan's in tremendous form at the moment. He's obviously got a lot of confidence going into today and started the game really well. And Ben Mackay has been really good for the Bombers so far, but today he's been outmatched on a couple of occasions so far, been led up to the ball, so he want to get a few contests back in his favour pretty quickly.
3 disposals, 3 marks for Hogan. Goal number 299 of his career. 25th on the season thus far. Restart in the middle. Briggs is in there. Merritt trying to get the handball away. Got grabbed by Tom Green. He forced it to Briggs and back to Green. Kicks inside the 50 for the Giants. This time Mackay rules the air for the Bombers in defence. Swings the kick out wide to Goldstein. He's held up by Haynes. Hand pass on the bounce was an awkward one for McGrath. Made it work in the end. Got it to Martin. Kicks the Bombers down the outer side wing. Neat delivery. Finds Cox right on halfway.
Giants by 12 after 9 minutes. As Nick Cox looks inboard. Dangerous kick, trying to link up with Perkins. In the end, punch back towards Perkins. Ball slips through his legs. Martin was sitting on top of it. Pack forms behind him. Says I'll have it between wing and half forward for the Bombers. 9.5 minutes in. 2-1 players, one behind. Corbin Middlemash, Joel Peterson, Mark Murphy, Luke Ball and Jess Webster, your call team, as it's one down to Durham. He's dispossessed, and then a hand pass from Perkins, turnover. Ward for the Giants, gives it to Cornelio. Tackled by Cox, ball comes out. Gresham half forward, hand pass away to Perkins. He can kick inside 50 for the Bombers. Langford deep in a one-on-one with Buckley. Langford wins it off the deck. Hand pass away to Heppel, who's drifted forward. Handball back to Langford. Giants sweating on him. He's held up now, and a ball up in the forward pocket for the Bombers. Kicking to the Coventry end in the opening term. They're still looking for their first. The Giants by 2 goals after 10 minutes.
Matt Nichols to toss it aloft. Goldstein controls it back in field, but it was taken by Perryman. Handball to Cornelio. Spirals and outside the defensive 50. Up toward the wing. Mackay, another good mark over Hogan.
Good response in the last couple contests by Ben Mackay.
Jabs the kick forward to Kelly. Kelly's got it. 75 from home for the Bombers. Nurses the kick into the pocket. On the lead is Wright. Can't take the mark. Spilt to Josh Kelly through the hands of Caldwell. Taylor, Iden, and Josh Kelly in defence for the Giants. Blasts it out toward the boundary line. Punched on by Toby Green. That was clever. Hogan's got a run at it, but can't keep it in. And it's out in front of the Giants bench. Their visitors 2-1. The Bombers are 1 behind. 11 minutes gone. Opening term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Obvious matchups through the middle of the ground. Durham looks like he's spending time on Green. Great to see Tom Green playing today. He's a really nasty ankle injury, so he's obviously done a great job to get himself up for the game. But yeah, no real run widths to speak of yet.
Boundary throwing, both Goldstein and Briggs at each other. Ball hits the deck. Toby Green, hand pass away towards Parrish. Bobbles back into congestion, and there's a clean hand pass. Daniels got it out to Cornelio, wanting to hop back on the right boot. Does so now. Kicks to the hot spot. Mackay's down there, flies for the footy. Hogan forced to play the role of the defender. Punches to the boundary line, and in the end, Daniels sees it out. Throw in 35 out from the Giants' goal. We've got 2 Joneses, 2 Kellys, 2 Greens. Keep us honest this afternoon, Joel. There's no late change coming in. Hobbs and Thomas are the respective subs. Giants by 12 after as many minutes.
Still off the play here. Blood rule. I think it's Jake Stringer who might have a bit of claret.
Connor Iden's got the match up there. That's almost as good a matchup as you could ask for. Or as good an opponent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pound for pound in terms of speed and power. So he's going to have his work cut out for him today, Jakey Stringer.
Absolutely, in the same weight class, those two. Ball tossed back in. Riccardi in ruck against Goldstein for the Giants here. Martin with the little step through. Kicks outside. Defensive 50 up to the wing. And Hemmelberg was draped over the back of Peter Wright. So the Bomber gets the free kick and or the mark. Take your pick. Defensive side of halfway. Pokes it forward to Parrish. Plenty of the footy last week did Darcy Parrish. 36 out west in that narrow win against the Eagles. Now he pokes it forward and finds Nick Hine just in front of the Bombers bench.
Didn't play against the Eagles. Back in today for the injured Dursma. Finds Harry Jones straight on the ground, and that's his first involvement. Takes a towering mark here at right half forward. He kicks to the top of the goal square, swatted down by Wright, and in the end it'll bounce all the way through from behind. So Essendon 2 behind, GWS 2-1. 13 minutes in, Saturday footy on ABC Sport. The Giants by 11. Just repeating full time down in Launceston. Hawthorn by 5 points over St Kilda. 8-10 to 7-11 full time. The Hawks beating the Saints.
Blue Ribbon Cup, of course. Honouring Gary Silk and Rodney Miller, the annual match between those two clubs. Kick outside the defensive 50 from the Giants. Mackay with the big fly, brought it down to Kelly. A little sidestep from Himmelberg, got around Durham, whacks it up the line. Toby Green and Kelly holding on to one another, and free kick will go the way of the Bomber.
Couple of good early wins, Jake Kelly. Won't be short in the strength department, will he? It'll just be when the ball hits the ground, whether he can stick with Toby.
Had
Good
his
start.
hands full last week with Jake Waterman of the Eagles. Kicks up the line. Durham had it go through his hands. Spilt to Iden. Handball infield from Cornelio. Pinched by Guelphy. Now to Parrish. Perkins at centre half forward. Over the top to Harry Jones. Back by hand to Martin. Out at left half forward. Jabs the kick inside the forward 50. Buckley read it all too well. Takes the intercept mark for the Giants.
What a year he's having, the 26-year-old at fullback. As I said, with Sam Taylor for company down there, their two key posts in defence. Goes wide to Haynes. Hand pass away to Riccardi. Gives it to Perryman. Kicks down the wing. Wanted Darcy Jones. One bounce out of play. And a boundary throw-in on the City side. Halfway through this opening term, the Giants 2-1. Essendon 2 behinds. Your thoughts on the SMS? 0437 774 774. Corbin Middlemash, Joel Peterson, Jess Webster on the boundary, Mark Murphy and Luke Ball. As it looks like Riccardi's going to do some of the ruck work here. Wright slips over, Riccardi palms it down. Tom Green scrapping for it, extracts it. Got it out towards Bedford. His hand pass reaches Riccardi, but he knocks it away towards Nick Cox to Martin. Back to Cox, back to Martin. He gives it to Parrish, kicks down the wing. Flying for it, Jones. No mark, falls to Guelphy. Kicks a spiral, hurriedly inside the forward 50, hits the deck. Iden and Davey both out after it. Davey turns Iden inside out. Great move, boundary side. Along the deck, and Davey with a ripper. Lift off for the Bombers. Kicks their first of the day. Parishnikov-esque as he does the fancy footwork in the forward pocket and runs it home for Essendon's first of the day. 15 minutes in, the Bombers 1-2-8. GWS 2-1-13. The Giants by 5 points. Mark Murphy, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
I could imagine Ball would be a tough spot to be when you're that last defender and the ball's flying over the back of your head and you know you've got Davey holding your tail. So you could just see as the spiral was about to land, it was about to hit it right on the point and bounce right back over his shoulder. And there's just nowhere else you'd rather be than sitting there watching that go over your head. But Alwyn Davis shows you the class. He doesn't need many opportunities to make you pay, but just good awareness just to drop the ball, the barrel. I'd love to see the barrel come out too, Bally. But
yeah, Matt Guelphy was good, wasn't it? The crumb, and then just noticed that there was space behind the players, and yeah, that's a nightmare position for Connor Iden to be in. Good finish, Davey.
A quiet week last week, Alwyn Davies, so good to see him on the scoreboard early. Ward crashes through, then burrows in trademark fashion. It's going back to that early game that you played against Callan Ward. Round 11 in his debut season. It was his first game.
12
disposals and a goal for Callan Ward when you lined up against him, Luke Ball. And
he probably kicked that on me.
Look how far he's come. Parrish is wrenched into the turf by Callaghan. Umpire said that was okay, no dangerous motion in it. So another ball up just in front of the centre circles. Bombers side of midfield. Giants by 5.
Right wins the hit out down to Caldwell for Essendon. Hand pass to Hind. Kicks hurriedly inside the forward 50. Davey outnumbered and outsized. And Himmelberg takes an easy intercept mark. Centre half back for GWS.
That's a challenge for the Bombers, that front six there. They can't be letting a Himmelberg or a Buckley drop off like that. You have to hold 6 forwards as much as you can.
Short laterally to Perryman. He goes long down the wing. Hogan punches it away. Darcy Jones at the drop. Got boot to ball. Trickles a kick down to half forward. Toby hits up, collects. Jinking run across the half forward line. Hand pass to Riccardi. Tough one for him to reel in. Still scrapping for it. Still at centre half forward for the Giants. Riccardi clever. Paddles it to Josh Kelly. His hand pass finds Ward at centre half forward. Handball away towards Whitfield and he'll retreat back by hand towards Himmelberg. Kicks inside the forward 50 and the sprawling mark to Hogan. He's got it, true centre half forward. He'll kick from bang on 50.
Wasn't pretty, Murph. They just kept turning up, though. That's what they do so well, the Giants. That's why they're such a good contested ball and uncontested ball team. It's a work rate thing. So just one after another. The orange jumpers just kept turning up. They always had one there. The outlet handball came. It was Himmelberg who took the intercept mark from the centre clearance in the back 50, who works his way forward. A lovely kick into that pocket of space for Jesse Hogan to lead into.
Probably one of the better users by foot for a tall bloke in the AFL, isn't he, Himmelberg?
What a year he's having so far with a Josh Kennedy stutter step approach. The drop punt misses just to the left behind. So he's on 25 goals, Hogan. The leader is Charlie Curnow, the 2-time reigning Coleman medalist, on 27. So 2 behind him, but he's looking threatening early. The Giants by 6 points. 18 minutes in, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Career tally stays at 299 for the time being. Jesse Hogan right inside the defensive 50. Out wide to Hind.
He needs to get on his bike now, Peter Wright. There's no point in sticking around half back line trying to get a cheap kick. Got to get forward.
Not going to get it back there. Hind drives it down the line. Guelphy attacks it strongly. Caldwell so too. Whitfield lays the tackle on Davey Jr. Wise says that'll be a ball up. Matt Nichols, Robert Finlay, Paul Ribachini, Peter Bales. Our umpires this afternoon. Under the roof at Docklands, 19 minutes gone opening term. Giants by a kick. Ward the clearing kick straight up and down the mine shaft. Trying to bash it forward was Martin. Hands and knees stuff for Daniels. He had so much time he got to his feet, then he missed the kick. Darcy Jones lays a good tackle. He knocks the ball loose. And then it goes back into the mess. Daniels lies on top of things again. Picks up his number opposite number 16 in Perkins. And a ball up right on halfway, broadcast side of the ground.
Wright palms it down, but straight to Daniels. Hurried kick forward for GWS, still in the centre square. Redmond's hand pass knocked down, as is McGrath, who had another go. Pack forms underneath him and the ball up. Coaching this afternoon, Murph, how's your coaching efforts going?
Tough start for the Zaves first 18 today, Corbin.
What line did you have?
Had a few out.
Yeah. No, coaching was good, though?
Well, the assistant coaching was good. A few questions will come for the senior coach, though.
Yep.
One, Jay Watson, after that.
In his old number 4, chasing out after it is Langford as the Giants send it down towards half forward. Knocked away towards Josh Kelly. Tumbles a kick into the forward pocket. Clean bowls a couple. Toby still hunting it. In the end, the boundary line beats him. Out of bounds right forward pocket for the Giants. GWS by 6 points as we tick into time on in the opening term. No late change. Harvey Thomas and Ben Hobbs the subs. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Andrew umpire to toss it back in. The movement and fight off the footy. Right to front spot. Caldwell clearing kick. This is going to land in the lap of Haynes, who's marked 45 metres out. Slight angle right of centre.
Yeah, you just can't throw the ball on the boot when you're in your D50. You need to either just embrace the tackle or the pressure that comes your way and get another stoppage. At very worst, you just need to bail out long and wide. And if you get done for deliberate out of bounds, and so be it, but you can't afford these shallow kicks inside 50.
Nick Haynes just the 13 goals in his career, and he's not going to add to his tally with that set shot. Out to the right, minor score, makes it a 7-point lead to the Giants. 21 gone opening term. Joel Peterson, Mark Murphy, Luke Ball, Jess Webster with you, along with this man Corbin Middlemass.
Kick out from Redmond finds Sammy Durham, the chippy from Seymour, who takes the mark at half back. What a story. He was overlooked in his draft year in 2019 and taken mid-season 2021, holding down a spot and inside mid in a team currently in the top 8 as he goes long down the wing, and a pack forms underneath all the Flyers. We'll have a ball up on the logo. Greg from Kyabram off the SMS just watched your commentator in Brett Delidio and his brother help get Tongala up for a 4-goal win against, is it Rumballara? I hope I've pronounced that correct.
Yep, it is.
As it's written. So well done, Lids. One of our own.
Yep, one of our own. I'm glad you brought up Lids, because there's a Caldwell's wearing the lemon out there, the lemon oil. Lids used to wear the lemon oil big time. Wonder if he wore it today.
I can only assume he would have. Maybe Greg can give us an update. But thanks for that. 0437 774 774. Bombers win it back. Durham in the middle of Docklands goes long inside the forward 50. Jones, that's how he competes in the air. Hits the deck. Sam Taylor has it. Jones runs him down. Hump says play on. Pack forms around Taylor, and now we'll have a ball up. Talking about the holding the ball.
We had a 5-minute discussion this morning. That one would have to come under no prior. The only chair, because he certainly didn't correctly dispose of it. So you might have got away with one there, Sam Taylor.
Come out in the tackle.
23-point win to Tony over Rumballara all the way up in the Murray League.
Put it through the flow chart, Cook.
Yes.
Long kick up the line. Over the back from Stone. Lets Toby Green in. Has a bit of a fumble inside the 50. Sees the open goal. Can't quite bounce it home. McGrath rushing back. Got a fingertip to it.
He gets a free kick.
And there was a bit happening off the footy, so...
But downfield, is it?
Yeah.
Might be a downfield free kick to Darcy Jones.
Well, I was just about to say it's not quite happening for Toby Green at the moment. He's had a couple of lean weeks, and even that one, he was away, wasn't he? The ball didn't quite bounce up for him. But
Jaden Laverde,
it looks like, has decked him after he kicked it, or just as he kicked it. And it's turned a touch behind into you would think, a certain goal for the young Giant.
So right place, right time for Darcy Jones. And with his right boot, just delivers the right result. He sneaks it inside the left-hand goalpost. He made the umpire do a lot of work. but sneaks it through to hand the Giants a 13-point lead. 3-3-21. The Bombers 1-2-8. 23 gone opening term on ABC Sport Week. Mark Murphy and Luke Ball.
What do you reckon, Murph? Much in it? Oh, maybe.
Did it affect the kick?
Well, no, it didn't, and that's the thing. So, Jaden, what are you doing? Don't give them an opportunity to pay even a 50-50 one and get him into the game, because it just isn't quite working for Toby at the moment, but he gets well. And it's Darcy Jones, a beneficiary.
It's been a bit of an even contest too. Like, looking through the stats, it's pretty even across the board, but the one that's glaringly standing out to me is the 6 marks inside 50 of the Giants and the 1 for Essendon.
Fair bit of the game in the Giants' front half so far. How many games do you wear the helmet, Murph?
5, I reckon.
5. Do you have it in team colours? There's Briggs, who gets the centre clearance for the Giants, kicks the centre half forward off the hands of Kelly, spills through towards Hind. Run down almost by Bedford, able to get a hand pass away to McGrath. Just such a composed figure, kicks to half back and finds the former skipper. Heppel marks, goes down the wing, too much on the kick. Durham couldn't reel it in, ball hits the deck. Giants again with the numbers. Bedford collects. Hand pass goes away towards Callaghan as he kicks to centre half forward for GWS. Toby Green the target, shoved out of the way by Kelly. Still live footy half forward for GWS. Jake Kelly had it, lost it. Ball comes out towards the Bombers. They turn it over again through Cox. Haynes gives it to Ward, kicks to the top of the goal square. It's out the back. Chance again for GWS, and Connor Stone, given a gift, collects a metre out and bangs it up into the second deck. And all of a sudden the Giants are off to a brisk start. They've kicked 4 of the first 5, and GWS lead the game by 19. 25 minutes in, 4-3-27. Essendon 1-2-8. A 19-point advantage for the Giants. Luke Ball and Mark Murphy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the Bombers are just finding it so hard on their counter-attack, getting through the Giants' defence, and they're setting up so well, and then on turnover they're just getting scored against at the moment, the Bombers. And I probably count on maybe one hand the amount of times they've been able to go coast to coast and get it inside 50 from a D50 on turnover, and they just can't do it. The Giants are defending so well. It's their work rate. They're working hard together, and they're coming straight back at them.
Can't give him a look, can you? It was a Dyson Heppel kick, the right option. He just popped it a little bit over the hands of Sam Durham, and from there, it's good luck. It's good night nurse, isn't it? You don't see it again against good teams like this, as we said. Number 2 in the comp, only behind the Swans in scores from turnover.
Next time you see it, it's back in the middle like we are at the moment. Trying to wrench the handball free was Perkins. Briggs has it. Merritt tackles him, giving a bit of size away. Zach Merritt, but no endeavour. And we'll have another ball up. Giants out by 19 points. 26 gone opening term. Briggs throws a boot at it for the Giants. Can't clear the area. Durham got the handball away to Caldwell. Down low for Martin. Clean pick-up, but kick was affected by the tackle. Spilled to right. Now to Caldwell. Defensive side of the wing. Tumbles a kick up the line. Looking for Gresham. He's been quiet early doors. And he's walked across by Perryman, who had the footy in his grasp as he walked out of play. Ball in between the wing and half forward for the Bombers. On the broadcast side of the ground, they're 1-2-8. The Giants 4-3-27. Nearly 27 minutes gone opening term on ABC Sport.
From the throw-in. First hands on it for Briggs, but down towards Durham, half forward for the Bombers. Handball to Perkins, almost run down by Ward. Affected the kick, spills to Iden. Half back for the Giants, hand pass away towards Cornelio. Back to Iden, hand pass along the ground to his home advantage. He's shoved out of play by Stringer, and we'll have a boundary throw-in. High half forward for Essendon.
They're doing it for 300 games, isn't he, Kellen Ward?
Yeah, just dig it
Potentially
in.
It's goal-saving, just dive, get a finger in, game of inches. Didn't give up on the chase. Great stuff.
Found himself face planting the turf, and he's got the blue paint on his shoulder to show for it. That's come off the 50-metre arc after he hit the deck, trying to lay the chase down tackle from the boundary throw-in. Slick hands from Gresham, but straight to Cornelio. Releases the Giants. Josh Kelly, hand pass to Perryman through the middle of Docklands.
Perryman flares the kick out wide for Stone, who marks just in front of the AFL logo. Cuts it back infield for Whitfield, missed him. And Merritt picks it off for the Bombers with some ease. Kicks to half forward to Jones. Harry Jones can't mark. Himmelberg's out the back, handball defensively to Lockie Ash, who scoots across the defensive 50 and then slides the kick to left half back for Haynes. Opportunity goes begging for the Giants.
Yeah, it does. Good call, John. That's the difference there at the moment, isn't it? The Giants absolutely able to punish on the turnover there. Great opportunity for the Bombers with the turnover, the open field, unable to capitalise.
Lots of Luke Ball on ABC Sport. Ash kicks long, having a great season for the Giants. Up toward Hogan. Mackay bashes it away from him, reaching over the back. Cornelio thought he was held without it by Caldwell. And then it's dragged back into the mess, and we will have a ball up. Just inside the Giants' attacking half. They're 4-3. The Bombers are 1-2. 28.5 gone in the opening term. Here's Corbin Middlemass on ABC Sport.
Goldstein and Briggs. Briggs trying to swat it down from the back. Skidding in Haynes. Got a hand pass out to Daniels. Hand pass to Ward. Under pressure. Turns it over. Cox for the Bombers. Hand pass away to Martin. Off half-back. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Stringer there along with Iden and Taylor. And Taylor able to be released to take the intercept mark at half-back. Shout out to Tyler in South Perth, who points out, of course, Sam Taylor's 100th game. Feels like it's forgotten a bit given the fact there's a 300 gamer out there, but a phenomenal effort.
Not like it was it. Share a smaller milestone with a bigger one. You just get the little corner at the bottom of the banner. But anyway, you'll be okay with that.
You don't get nearly enough shine for it. But what a player he's been, an All-Australian back in 2022. Becomes the 22nd Giant to reach the 100-game milestone. So quarter time here, as you heard, GWS 4-3-27, Essendon 1-2-8. The goal kickers in that opening quarter, one each for Riccardi, who kicked the first of the game, Hogan, Darcy Jones and Stone, while for Essendon, Elwyn Davey Jr. has their only goal so far. Quarter time at Docklands. The thoughts of Mark Murphy and Luke Ball coming up. More from you off the SMS as well on 0437 774 774. John from West Footscray, Adam Ramanauskas, isn't with us today, but feels like his spirit lives on this text message. Why don't they open the roof at Docklands? There is no roof been opened all year. Why is that? So any game basically that starts after, I think it's about 2 p.m. that's played here at Docklands, they won't open the roof. I actually think that's changed in recent years. I don't think they open the roof at all for any game now. It doesn't look great on TV, and the stadium's got a roof. Man has spent thousands of years trying to perfect indoors. As soon as we get an indoor stadium, we want to go outside again. So roof is shut. We have a stadium that has a roof, and that's why it's on at the moment. More of your thoughts coming up in just a moment, plus that from Murph and Bawley. Quarter time at Docklands. The Giants by 19 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Here's my top footy tip for the season. You can get your games live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. I know, right? AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sport's expert commentary team. Game, set, bingo. This season on the home of 100% pure footy. The ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Tom Green to Toby Green from tight in the boundary line. Kicks to full forward. Riccardi pulls in the mark at point-blank range, but he'll have to go around on the angle in the left forward pocket. Should have no trouble from here and gets the first of the ball game.
Goes back through his routine, Jesse Hogan. A little stunner step approach, 45 metres out, drop punt sails goalward, and the big men are involved early for the G-men. He got the first two. Falls to Guelphy, kicks a spiral, hurriedly inside the forward 50, hits the deck. Iden and Davey both out after it. Davey turns Iden inside out. Great move, boundary side. Along the deck, and Davey with a ripper. Lift off for the Bombers. Kicks their first of the day.
So right place, right time for Darcy Jones. And with his right boot, just delivers the right result. He made the umpire do a lot of work, but sneaks it through to hand the Giants a 13-point lead.
Haynes gives it to Ward, kicks to the top of the goal square, it's out the back. Chance again for GWS, and Connor Stone, given a gift, collects a metre out and bangs it up into the second deck. And all of a sudden, the Giants are off to a brisk start.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
They're the best first quarter team in the competition, and the Giants again playing from in front. They lead by 19 points at quarter time. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass, Joel Peterson, Jess Webster on the boundary. The 300-gamer Mark Murphy, the Premiership Pie Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
Yeah, Ball, we're just looking through the stats, and just the gut feel that we're feeling at the moment is that you're seeing probably a top 2 or 3 side in the Giants playing against the side who's I think a top 8 contender, no doubt. They're just not quite finishing their plays at the moment, the Bombers, and that's due to the pressure that the Giants are forcing on them. So trying to fix up some of those little skill errors, decisions inside the game by the Bombers will clean up a few little things that can give them an opportunity. But the way in which the Giants are going inside 50 at the moment, they're scoring too easily. They've had the 11 inside 50s and scored 4 goals 3, so that's an area of the game that the Bombers will need to clear up.
Yeah, good call, Murph. That's the difference in the game at the moment. I think the Bombers are okay around clearance. The getting their hands on the footy, possession-wise, all pretty sound. Their inability to defend turnover, and some of them are indefensible. We know that. That last one, just a missed kick through the middle of the ground. Not many teams can defend, let alone against the Giants. And with the quality of players they have forward of the ball.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because you want your players to see it and go for
the
That's
kick.
The way in which they like to play, but you've got to execute against a good side.
Saw it last night. Port Adelaide in that first quarter, that first half. That was their ability to be able to do that against that Geelong defence, which plays in a very similar way to the Giants, was a difference in the game. The Bombers at the moment are just falling short. I mean, the only goal they got was from long kick out, Crum, long kick forward, and a bit of Davey brilliance.
Yep.
Other than that, the Giants have looked pretty sound across half-back, haven't they?
Really stable.
And taken a lot of marks and intercept marks with Himmelberg and Taylor and Buckley, which we know they do so well. Jake Stringer hasn't touched the footy yet, so he's got. I think you'll see him here. I've seen
he's
looking now. He's going to walk into the centre square bounce now. At least start in there, and then he can push forward, because I know they'd be concerned about his ability to work and spread with the Giants midfielders, but has to get his hands on the footy. He's too good a player not to touch a footy in the quarter. But other than that, the midfield battle's reasonably even.
Yep.
Caldwell and Durham and Parrish getting their hands on the ball. Merritt's probably been the one that's down on his usual output a little bit. What are his numbers there?
Had the 5.
He's only had the 5 and turned it over once or twice as well. So we know he can improve, but a reasonable battle through there as well.
Jess Webster is on the boundary. Jess.
No major injury concerns for these two sides at quarter time, with Ben Hobbs and Harvey Thomas, the unused subs. But some news coming out of Geelong in the AFL in the last few minutes. Jeremy Cameron has entered the AFL's concussion protocols after having concussion symptoms this morning. The AFL has ticked off the process that the Cats went through last night after he copped a head knock late in the game. So that was all fine, but he's shown some symptoms this morning. He's entered the concussion protocols, which means he will miss Thursday night's clash against the Gold Coast.
Thanks, Jess. So all okay.
Well, it's not black and white. That's the thing. And you can have delayed concussion several times. So you can understand. We can maybe talk about it at half-time, Corby. You can understand how it played out last night.
We'll come back to it. It's the second term underway. 19-point lead for GWS. The Bombers going forward out the middle. Merritt to Parrish to Stringer, all by hand. Hand pass to Durham. Kicks for Langford, bursting out of the goal square. Buckley got a fist in there. Spills to right. Hand pass away to Gresham. And he misses the top of the goal square. Chucked it on the boot. Just the wrong side of the goal post and behind. But a quick break out of the centre, the first one today for Essendon. It comes a minute into the second term, and the margin is 18 points the Giants' way early in the second term.
Stringer involved, Murph.
Yep.
It's a great centre bounce clearance play. We know how good was Buckley. Was it Buckley who just got the lunge in? I mean, what a player he's becoming. And great Jay Gresham usually eats those, doesn't he? So they let him off the hook.
Giants waste no time, but Harry Himmelberg kicks it out of bounds on the full. McGrath kicks it back inside the forward 50 for the Bombers. Gee, Whitfield, dangerous hand pass, found Ash underground. Then Tom Green. It's bashed on. And Briggs exits to defensive 50, straight down the front of Laverty. He's got her in front of the wing for the Bombers. Now chips back to halfway. Jack Kelly is there. Thought about going back to Laverty. Now assesses the options. Comes in field and finds Martin, who's got a game-high 11 disposals, coming up for number 12.
Missed only one since his debut. Game 53 for Nick Martin as he kicks for Peter Wright. Crashes the pack. Heavy landing, ball hits the deck. Tom Green comes up with it for the Giants, goes short to Darcy Jones.
Well, he saw Buckley, isn't he? That's good from Peter Wright. That's what you need to do. Yeah, someone's going to stand there in the hole.
Well, Darcy Jones comes inboard, went short to Whitfield and a shove in the back against Guelphy. And Nick Hine throws the ball away.
That's very generous.
The umpire's going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
50-50 free kick. Maybe he thought, well, just giving the benefit, but he got away with one there, Nick Hine. That was a bit sloppy.
3-goal lead for Greater Western Sydney. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Earlier today, Hawks by 5 over St Kilda. Short kick to Himmelberg. The Giants in a slow play. Defensive side of the wing. Dock side.
If it was a different football code, the Nick Hine pass would have been called intentional grounding, I reckon. It was not targeting a receiver. Here he is with the ball as it's clattered away from the marking contest and smothered over the line by Connor Stone in front of the Giants, the Bombers bench.
Simon from Port Adelaide off the SMS. I'm I'm thinking of the last time Essendon played GWS, getting a similar feeling that this is headed in the same direction.
Simon.
Last time they played, the Giants won by 126 points.
On early with that,
It's not going to happen.
Jesse Hogan kicked 9. That's a harsh judgment, Simon. That's okay. 0437 774 774. Canelio almost missed his boot. It rolled its way to Josh Kelly. And then to Darcy Jones. Bombers across half-back. Redmond to Laverty, who kicks the defensive goal square now for Mackay. They're going to have to go the length of the field here, Essendon, to build the ball back up. Mackay doesn't see a lot that he likes, so he pops it back to the left-back pocket for Redmond. Giants by 18, 3 minutes gone here in this second term on ABC Sport.
Put up 162 points that day, the Giants, so it was their highest ever score and their biggest ever win in terms of both their highest total and their biggest winning margin. As Gresham marks that kick, gives a hand pass away towards Redmond and goes darting away through the defensive 50. Made it tough for the big man Cox. Couldn't reach down and pick it up. Invites the Giants back in half forward. Toby Green. Hand pass away to Hogan. Slips over. Hand pass to Tom Green. Throws it on the left peg. Sails to the goal square. Catman down there. Carries the pack. One bounce close to the boundary line. Darcy Jones trying to keep it alive. Run down by Hind. Holding the ball. And a free kick for the Bombers in the back pocket. Nick Hind with the chase down tackle. A 3-goal lead for the Giants 4 minutes into the second term.
Like a greyhound match race, that. Couple of speedsters going at it in Jones and Hind. Martin off half-back, finds Nick Cox. He's got it at right half-back. Martin cruises past. He'll flick the handball over the top now to Gresham. The Bombers generating some runs. City side of the ground. Gresham inside the 50. Drops into the bucket for Langford, who's marked at 45 from home. A couple of paces in from the boundary in the right forward pocket. Bombers fans wanted him to keep moving it. Wright was at the top of the goal square, but Langford has certainly got the distance if he strikes it well enough.
It's electric footy, wasn't it? It's Nick Martin's the one at the moment that's showing the line-breaking run, the overlap run there. You were gesticulating for him to get it going.
Yeah.
They were out on the fat side there, Murph, and it was Martin the one that recognised it. What a player he's becoming. 14 possessions already.
3 last week for Kyle Langford. He'll take a very good kick from here, just inside the boundary line in that right forward pocket. He leaves it away to the near side. Margin is 17 points, 4.5 gone, second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Ward with the kick-out duties, goes to the back pocket. Himmelberg took a bounce, left it behind. Didn't come back to him. Wright had a moment, slipped over, lost it too. Stone knocks it away to Taylor. Forced from him by Durham. Hand pass into the forward pocket for Guelphy. Gives a handball to Perkins. He's drilled in the tackle, taken down by Briggs. Heavy tackle. And the umpire says, I'll have it, left forward pocket for the Bombers.
Chase Pete Wright. Small and tall, good forward pressure there for the Bombers. Good scrambling as well from the Giants. Looked like a certain goal.
Briggs wins the hit out, but straight to Gresham. Snaps goalward, trying to weave his way through traffic. Picked off by Taylor at fullback. Sweeping hand pass out to Bedford. Bedford through centre half back for the Giants.
He was elusive, got it to Tom Green, who handballs out wide. 2-on-1 there for Essendon. Picked up by McGrath at the edge of the 50 for Langford. Darts the kick to full forward. All right, coming over the top. Pulls it in. It was a bullet off the boot of Kyle Langford. And Stringer has pulled in the mark. He's 15 from home, slight angle right of centre.
We just mentioned him, Peter Wright. He was actually doing the defending hard up the ground then and just laid a body across to give his teammate an extra opportunity for an extra second or two and just to create that space to be able to use the football the way in which Langford did then. Just give Stringer this opportunity.
Didn't see it in the opening term, Jake Stringer. Now with the Sherrin in his hands. He misses. That's a bad miss. From in close, needed to do better. Bombers 1-5. Giants 4-3. 6.5 gone second term.
Fair to say he's what we call a confidence player, isn't he, Jake Stringer? Didn't have a touch in the opening term, trying to weave his way into the game, but a little cold on that finish. The Giants, not pretty, but they work it up to halfway. Taylor got a hand pass, which releases Daniels, puts on the Jets, kicks into the forward pocket. Toby Green and Jake Kelly hunt out after it. Toby trying to keep it alive. Laverty comes to lend a hand, wants the boundary line, and in the end he gets it. Tackled out by Toby.
Geez, that look dangerous when their high half forwards get up the ground, the Giants, and the ball goes over the back. There's just so much speed.
Didn't it get down there quick? Jake Stringer misses a goal from 20 metres out, and all of a sudden we've got a dangerous forward 50 stoppage at the other end.
Boundary throwing. Pocket at the other end of the ground. Forward 50 for the Giants. Goldstein wins it down. Got a hand pass away to Cox. He gives it to Martin. Hurried kick out of the defensive arc. Whitfield has it. He's crunched by Wright. Coming to get him from behind. And the out-of-zone umpire says that was a little high. Free kick for Whitfield. He's 70 out left half forward.
Sorry, Corb. I like the physical presence, though, from Wright. He's in the game. It's not working for him offensively at the moment, but that'll come if he keeps working hard like that.
Back in All-Australian form, Lockie Whitfield kicks to full forward. Big fly over the top from Hogan. Couldn't take the mark. Riccardi had a hand to it. Oh, Goldstein in the defensive goal square. Stone Cold dropped it. And Toby Green socketed back past him. The hand pass to the ruck in the defensive goal square. And Toby Green pounces on the opportunity like a centre forward, poaching a strike and knocking it past the keeper. Giants with the first of the second term after Essendon have dominated the play. 8 minutes gone. GWS 5-3-33 to the Bombers 1-5-11.
Yeah, oh, look, I'm trying to find an out for Goldie there.
It wasn't a great handball.
It wasn't a great handball, but
come on, mate, he's 37.
37 at the knee of 6'7".
No, seriously. I talked about it last week, Corb. It's an underrated skill, the handball, still in modern footy. It was at Caleb Sarong last week, an unbelievable exponent of it, and it just costs you at times. They work on it at training, but that had to be at the chest of the big fella. Puts it at his ankles, and okay, 5 metres out from goal, maybe you can find a way to do better, but it costs them a goal.
Quick break though for the Bombers. They're going back in the other direction off the boot of Durham. Right, the target slips off his hands through to Langford. He can't take it either. Iden, hand pass away to Taylor, kicks out of the defensive arc, and Redmond reads it best. Charges through, takes the intercept mark in front of Bedford. So the Bombers keep it in their front half at least, a chance to reload. Giants by 22. It's a game high, 5-1. 9 minutes into the second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Kicks into the pocket. Harry Jones off the bounce. Hand pass to right. Kick smothered. Great work, Sam Taylor. A 1%er in game number 100. Just in the shadows a little bit of Cal Ward playing game 300. Boundary throw in half forward for the Bombers.
Underrated stat too for mine, Murph. The smother still today's footy. I see a heap of them.
Great exponent of the smother too, Luke Ball.
I used to love
picturing flying across.
Do you ever wear the helmet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, one game here.
Black and white helmet?
It was not.
Yeah, I feel like it's underrated that his helmet's colour-coded.
It's outstanding.
It's got an orange.
I had more of a royal blue on mine. Royal blue and black.
Yep.
I went 4-4. We were 4-4 with it.
Right.
Got done and then threw it off.
So for a period you were actually keeping it due to the fact that you were winning?
Well, after 2 weeks I was like, yep, we've got to keep it going here.
Jai Caldwell jogs off with the blood rule.
Was it coming back from concussion? No,
I had staples in my head.
Right.
So I had to wear that for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Mark Murphy on ABC Sport alongside Luke Bawley, our experts this afternoon. John Peterson, Corbin Middlemass calling the footy. Jess Webster downstairs. Zach Merritt lays the tackle on Lockie Ash. The two number 7s colliding inside forward 50 for the Bombers. They've had plenty of opportunities in this second term. A couple of gilt-edged ones, Essendon. They haven't been able to convert. Iden at the stoppage. Pokes it outside the defensive 50. Straight into the path of Cox. And it's going to be a free kick for some high contact on Darcy Parish here. 60 metres out from goal for Essendon. What does he see that he likes inside 50? Sends it long to full forward. Jones is in the pack for the Bombers. Can't take the mark. Taylor's tackled quickly by Langford. Ball's not coming out. And we'll have it tossed aloft in the right forward pocket for Essendon.
5-3 plays 1-5, 11 minutes into the second term. Goldstein wins it down. Haynes knocks it away for GWS down towards Tom Green. He can clear the defensive 50. High kick against that city boundary line. Laverty along with Riccardi, and Riccardi in the end spoils it out of play. So boundary throwing 55 out from the Bombers' goal at the Lockett end. Giants by 22. Standalone footy, Saturday twilight. In the afternoon slot, it was Hawthorn by 5 points over St Kilda. The Hawks winning a couple in a row. The boundary throw in here. Briggs wins the hit out for GWS, close to the boundary line, and in the end, Daniels takes it out of play. Another 15 metres gained for GWS, a throw in between wing and half forward for the Bombers.
They keep persisting here, the Bombers. They've hit 9 inside 50s to 3 for the quarter. No reward for effort.
Happy to report our man Brett Delidio kicked a goal today for Tony against Rumballara. Not named in the best players, just quietly Lids, but he did get on the score sheet in that 23-point win in the Murray League. So well done, Lids, if you're in the car driving home listening in.
I reckon he'd tell you otherwise, though. Sure. Robin, wouldn't he?
I kept telling him he's Tongala's rising star, but apparently that's someone else that's making a fair bit of news out west.
Ball to be tossed back in right on halfway, City side. Giants by 22 points, 12 gone here in this second term. Get the clearance, bouncing up toward half forward. Jake Kelly's out to meet it. Nick Martin's been prolific early. Jabs the kick in field, precision pass onto the chest of Perkins. Now to the run of Merritt, loops the handball over the top, set Durham-Atas back into the path of Merritt. Now to Perkins, 52 out, loads up and launches. And the arching Perkins skips away in celebration, pumps the air, and that is a really nice long goal from the promising youngster. Their first since the 15-minute mark of the opening term comes at the 13-minute mark of the second. Margin 16 points the way of the Giants. They're 5-3. The Bombers are 2-5 on ABC Sports Saturday afternoon footy.
It's been the last 2 or 3 minutes just having a look at Zach Merritt and just seeing whether or not he'd been getting a run with, because he only had the 5 disposals in that first quarter, and then he only had the 1 up until that point where then he was involved in an overlap handball chain, and that's something that gets Essendon going. So the skipper there getting involved in the offensive end and getting from one contest to the next, and then impacting. That's what they need from him, and that's the reason why they got that goal.
Brilliant kick from Nick Martin. Inboard again, wasn't it? He's the one at the moment. It's keeping the Bombers in it.
Crowd involved too now as Wright wins it down to Caldwell. He's tackled by Callaghan and the ball up in the middle of Docklands.
He's a great overlap player, Zach Merritt, but when you're not hitting those marks and he can't get that overlap going, he sort of becomes all a contested style player where he's been so good on both ends so far this season.
Giants from the stoppage as Cadman kicks it inside the forward 50 and Laverty's back, takes the intercept mark. Bombers actually have more top 10 picks on their list than any other team in the league. They have 12 of them. 8 playing today. The Giants also have 8 playing, but only 11 on their list. As the kick goes out wide to Cox. He doesn't take the mark, but he's dragged down illegally by Josh Kelly. He'll get the free kick. I think Cox is one of those. Pick 8 back in 2020, along with Perkins and Reid in the same draft. Kicks to centre half forward. Punched away by Taylor along the half-forward line for the Bombers. Gresham out after it. First one there. Hand pass to Davey. He's out. Kicks into the forward pocket. And Langford just inside the boundary line. Marks left forward pocket about 30 metres out for the Bombers.
Again, just a little bit of brilliance, wasn't it? Ball from Gresham and then Davey to hit up Langford then. But what I liked is under pressure, Gresham, rather than handball back and refer pressure backwards, he actually went forward. You probably didn't see him necessarily, but against the Giants, if you keep on referring back, you fall under enormous pressure.
They're not deep pockets here, and they're in front of one of the races, the one the Giants are using today, but we often see players having pins from out here. That is a superb finish. And the Bombers have found a bit of momentum. 2 in a row for the Dons. They're right back in this game, halfway through the second term. Essendon 3-5-23, the Giants 5-3-33. Their lead cut to 10. GWS on top, Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Mark Murphy and Luke Ball.
Yeah, it's a great call, Murph. And they finally get reward for effort. We spoke about the territory dominance for the quarter and Pete inside 50. And Jake Gresham, he really has brought, that's why they got him, isn't it? He really has brought that little bit of class forward of centre for the Bombers. Davey now starts to get involved in that as well. And in the end, they sort of make something out of nothing. They had the outnumber, but Gresham was smart enough to flick the ball. He might have heard the voice, and Davey was good enough to lower his eyes and hit Langford. And marks inside 50 with no goal, especially with players' ability these days to be able to do that. And as you can hear, Murph, the crowd get involved.
Big Bombers contingent liking what they're seeing at the moment. Couple in a row for their side. Back in the middle. Giants with the clearance. Cornelio, clever kick over the top to Ward, who holds it up 75 from home. Sold right out of his boots and then kicks inside the 50. Punches a low ball onto the chest of Jesse Hogan, who's marked 45 from home. Slight angle right of centre.
Well, the Giants, they needed a bit of a response in the middle of the ground. They were down 15-10 to clearances, and you go to the centre square bounce. Cornelio, rather than just get the ball and whack it on the boot and just try and get yardage, he sees Callan Ward at the corner of his eye, hits the lower kick about 20-25 away, and then Callan Ward again, who you can't teach that. That's experience and that's class, and Jesse Hogan find himself in the end of it.
So Hogan from right on the 50, the stutter, the strike, he drags it away to the left, and it's bashed through by Peter Wright for a minor score to the Giants. Margin is 11 the way of the team in the bright orange jumpers this afternoon. 17 played second term, 5-4 plays 3-5. Here's Corbin Middlemass on ABC Sport.
Their only number one pick in club history. The number one appropriately on his back. Andy McGrath goes bouncing away on the kick out long to the wing, and superb Mark Taylor takes the intercept mark, falling back into it. And chop it off at halfway, and they've done this so well today, the Giants, keeping the ball in their front half. An 11-point lead. The boys from Western Sydney. Kicks down to half forward. Laverty spoils close to the boundary line. McGrath keeps it alive. Hand pass to Hind. Darcy Jones is coming to get him. Tackles him out of play, and a throw in forward pocket for GWS. Giants by 11 points. 18 minutes gone in the second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. 0437 774 774 the SMS.
Darcy Jones wanted one back on Nick Hind for the free kick earlier in the term. Peter Wright chases it out toward the boundary line, bounces off his shin and just pitches inside the chalk before it goes out for another throw-in. Joel Peterson, Corbin Middlemass calling it for you. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy, your experts. Jess Webster on the boundary. Earlier today, Hawthorn winners over the Saints by 5 points down in Launceston. Big night of footy ahead as well on ABC Sport. Games over at the MCG and up in the top end with the Suns taking on the Roos. The clearance, it's worked outside the defensive 50 by the Bombers, but only just, and we'll have a ball in 55 metres out from the Giants' goal.
From the throw-in, Wright wins the hit out. Canelio throws himself forward in the tackle, and Caldwell isn't penalised for that. The ball's under the pair, and the ump says, I'll have it again. Another forward 50 stoppage for GWS. The Bombers trying to get it out of their back half, and Giants trying to mount some of that pressure. Here's Laverty on his knees. Hand pass to Perkins. Handball to Gresham, trying to weave his way through. Got it to Caldwell, slick hands. Away to Heppel. Hand pass to Gresham. Kicks beyond the wing. Harry Jones running out after it. The ball will slip out of play and beats him over the boundary line. Throwing now at half forward for Essendon.
I like seeing Jake Gresham get higher up the ground and sometimes go into those stoppages and try and just get out the front door, because he's got the ability to open up some space for a few of his teammates and then get on the end of them himself, but usually a really good ball user.
Last couple in the game for the Bombers. Narrowed the gap to 11 points. Cadman in the ruck this time. Parrish came crashing through. Essendon work it inside the forward 50. Iden hands it up. Callaghan wrenched down by Caldwell. Spilt a stringer. Squaring kick off the side of the boot. And it floats out of bounds in the end. Harry Himmelberg might have taken it right on the boundary line and stepped it across, because it'll be a throw-in. 30 metres around from the Essendon goal. Last couple in the ball game for the Bombers as we tip toward time on in this term. They trail by 11. Right front spot. Did the roving as well. Ward's there for the Giants inside the defensive 50. Canelio pushed off his hand pass. Will he get a free kick? He will. Play on an advantage for the Giants. Down the outer side they go toward Riccardi.
He punches it further afield and it'll work out okay. Toby Green's onto it. Dashing away. Half forward. Kicks inside 50. They all miss it. Mackay at the back gathers for Essendon at fullback. Hand pass to Hind. Short kick to Martin. And he marks at half back. Sweeping hand pass to Redmond. Dangerous. Almost caught. Got it back to Martin, who's running along the boundary line. Dockside. Kicks down the wing. Kicks it out on the full. And a free kick for the Giants. Again, they'll keep it in their front half. Fran from Melbourne off the SMS. G'day team, enjoying the call. My side not playing, but come on the Giants. Big fan of Jesse Hogan. Shout out for you too, Bally. Luke, your comments with Mick today, always on the ball, no pun intended. As Taylor kicks down to half forward, Redmond misses it clean. The Bombers mop it up. Mackay hand pass to Jake Kelly. High up and under to half back. They all let it bounce. Spills down to Hogan. Half forward for the Giants. Hand pass to Perryman. Hand pass to Tom Green. Jumps on top of it. Davey tackles him. Got it out to Daniels. Clever. Quick to the advantage of Canelio. Bursts away outside of the right boot. One bounce into the post. Gee, just opened up for him, Canelio.
Yeah, just got it a bit skinny on his boot there. He had that good awareness just of having that 3 or 4 metres of space and taking an extra 5 or 6 metres using his legs, but just hit it skinny, the banana.
22 gone, second turn, Giants by 12.
McGrath brings it in to Jake Kelly, drives it long toward Durham, who comes over the top. A couple of GB boys in Ash and Durham going at it. It was Sammy Durham who came off the better of the two on that occasion. Handball to Martin, who is just racking them up and spraying them out of bounds on the full at will. Last couple for Nick Martin have missed the target. Both into the same area of the field in front of the Giants bench.
One more, and it's time for a new pair of boots, isn't it? I mean, he has had a lot of the footy, so you can excuse him the odd mistake, but very uncharacteristic there.
This time Cornelio wedges the kick up toward the forward 50. Crashing through was Briggs, out the back Stone. Hind, handball away to Cox. On the numbers of the defensive 50 for the Bombers. Perkins drives it. Rise from Taylor, and Jack Buckley came running into him. Spoilt the party and the ball. Cornelio, forward hand pass to Callaghan. Kicks the Giants inside the forward 50. Working his way to the front of the pack. It's a good mark in the end, or is it going to be a free kick? It'll be a mark to Callaghan.
It's a great mark. It's Riccardi, I think, Joel, but...
Still trying to work out what Buckley was doing.
Oh, he's cost his good mate down there a crack at mark of the year.
Riccardi with the footy. It was Callaghan, of course, who delivered it to him.
Oh, goodness me, Jack. I mean, courage going back with the flight, but sometimes you just need to be aware of your surroundings. But it's a high-pressure 5 or so minutes here, isn't it? No easy ball, and that was a brilliant mark from Riccardi.
Riccardi kicked the first of the ball game, and he kicks this one into the same post Steve Cornelio did a moment ago. Clatters it into the woodwork, minor score. 13-point lead to the Giants, 23 gone second term. Plenty happening in this ball game at the moment.
It's been great standard of footy last couple of minutes. Hot game, 23 minutes into the second term. Giants by 13. The last of our top 8 matchups for the weekend. A beautiful quirk of the fixture that the 8 teams in the top 8 all play one another, and that means all the bottom 10 teams play each other as well this weekend.
We saw too Jake Riccardi coming off after that shot for goal.
The kick out towards half-back ends up out of bounds for the Bombers, trying to work it up into their front half from the kick out. Giants by 13. Boundary throwing up on their wing, dockside. Goldstein palms it down, collected by Caldwell. Hand pass to McGrath. Handball to Perkins. Tackled as he kicked into the middle of the ground. Haynes takes the intercept mark. Giants keen to go quick. Hand pass to Whitfield. Short kick to Cornelio. Marks centre half forward. 55 out. Dabs the pass to the lead of Hogan, who keeps on presenting. He takes the mark, centre half forward. He'll kick from just inside 50.
It's a great call. I watched him, and he's fresh. He came on the ground. He had the benefit of that. Came on for Riccardi, Jesse Hogan. But his work rate, there's no secret as to why he's having such a good year and getting so many looks at goal. Just led. It was about 3 or 4 leads in a row there until he found himself that pocket of space, and would feel good enough to hit him.
Slightly left of centre. Jesse Hogan. Set shot, sails goalward. It's there. He's having a career year, and now a career milestone for Jesse Hogan. Goal number 300. He's second of the day. He becomes just the 198th player in AFL VFL history to kick 300 goals. A 19-point advantage for the Giants. 25 gone in the second term. 6-6 to 3-5. It's the Giants on top by 19. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it's the work back towards goal from Jesse Hogan just to open up that space in front of him. And he just loved playing with the likes of Caniglio and Whitfield and Ward. These guys who don't just get the ball and go long. They look for their key targets. They analyse the space and where it is in front of their teammates. And Jesse Hogan just keeps on presenting and keeps on finding himself in the end of one. It's got an interesting little run up with the old stutter, which probably 45 doesn't probably suit him too well, but nice enough to go back and slot that one through the middle.
Very Josh Kennedy-esque.
Very similar to Big Joshy K.
Delivering similar results at the moment, which is the nice part for Giants fans. Goldstein at the clearance back in the middle. Merritt just hacks it forward. Bouncing ball inside the forward 50 for the Bombers. Iden attacks it. Rams into Heppel. Uses his strength. Gets the handball away only as far as Durham. Kicks the Bombers to the pocket. Bounce in front of Gresham. He can't keep it in. And they throw in 40 around from the Essendon goal.
What did you used to call him, Murph? What was his nickname? Josh Kennedy?
K-Roo.
Not a bad nickname.
Not too bad. Big fella. Jeez, the stutter just got bigger and bigger, didn't it?
It did.
It was almost like dancing out there at one point.
19-point lead to the Giants. Ball tossed back inside the forward 50 for Essendon. Perkins plucked it off the pack, had a shot, was smothered on the way through, spilled to Perryman to Iden. Harried kick, and it lands in Durham's arms. Iden just threw it on the boot blindly.
Yeah, it was strange from Iden because he did a really good step to create space for himself and then opened up that opportunity to take some yardage and whack the ball in his boot in a better way than which he did. He just panicked almost, and that's a result of the pressure that's out there at the moment. Yep. Well, it's a very finals-like game out there. There's not a lot of time to make decisions, and you've got to be very quick on your feet. But when you do get time, you've got to make the most of it.
14 disposals already for Sam Durham, coming off an equal career best 25 last week. His 15th is out to the right, and it is a minor score. So 3 straight kicks the margin. Giants up on tops, 27 gone, second term on ABC Sport.
Whitfield on the kick-out finds Perryman, back pocket, runs, carries to half-back, kicks down the wing. Oh, Mackay outmarks Hogan. Got a bit of contact on the way back and tried to sell it for everything it was worth. The ump wasn't buying that, and Mackay will be able to reload. Oh, and then just sells a bit of candy around Hogan on the mark, kicks down to half-forward, and Hedl has got it for the Bombers. 55 out left, half-forward. Giants lead the game by 3 goals. 27 gone, second term. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Haynes tries to kill it over the back, still alive. Against the boundary line, or Callaghan just walks out with the footy. Mum says it's all okay. Boundary throw in, left forward pocket for the Dons. Half-time coming up. We've got 2 very special talking points for our 2 analysts as well. Both been involved in key events happening in footy this week. Mark Murphy more midweek, and Luke Ball as recently as this morning. So we'll tell you about that at half-time.
Ball tossed back in. Goldstein wins it down into the path of Stringer, who flares it across the face, and it lands with Langford.
Great pass.
Jake Stringer with the cross from 7 metres out, and Langford's made it 25 out up against the boundary line right forward pocket.
Jakey, at least he does things you have a laugh about, don't you? I'm not sure his coaches have laughed too much about some of the things he does, but he creates a lot of talking points and a lot of energy out there.
Well, he's dialed it up this quarter. That's one thing he has done. He's having an impact on the game, both in the centre square and forward of the ball. Way too much space there running through the forward 50 stoppage.
So Kyle Langford's going to go the checky from tight in the right forward pocket. No worries at all. A couple for Langford. And he's making himself not only a consistent target up there, but a consistent finisher too. 3 in the quarter for the Bombers. Margin back to 12. 6-6-42 the Giants. Essendon 4-6-30. 29 minutes played second quarter. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
It's a great finish from Langford, isn't it? But I think it's Steve Cornelio won't want to watch that replay. A defensive 50 stoppage. Jake Stringer, he stood there waiting really for the ball to get thrown in, and no one near him. I mean, one play you need to put some time into it, a forward 50 stoppage or a D50 stoppage is Jake Stringer, and through he went, and you would have backed him to kick the goal himself. It was a bit fortuitous in the end that Langford got on the end of it, but
incredible goal assist.
Great goal assist, wasn't it?
He could have kicked it from 5 metres out himself. He put his teammate in a tough angle in the pocket.
That's it. Yeah, he's doing it from both pockets, Langford.
Went back and kicked it anyway. Back in the middle of the ground. Stringer here at the coalface as he is wrapped up, along with a few others. Pack forms and a ball up again. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemash, Joel Peterson, Jess Webster, Luke Ball, Mark Murphy. Back in the middle, Tom Green, first touch. Hand pass out towards Daniels, knocks it down to Haynes. Giants with it, handball to Perryman. Floats a kick out to half forward. Redmond tracking it, threw his fist at it, missed it. Gathers as it hits the deck. Hand pass away towards Mackay, half back for the Bombers. Hand pass to Laverty, kicks down the city boundary line. Underneath the footy, Sam Taylor, he's got another intercept mark. Defensive side of the wing for the Giants. They lead by 2 goals as we tick towards half-time.
Finished the 10 under that one. Shoots it short to Haynes. 38 disposals and 14 marks last week in the VFL for Nick Haynes. Talk about banging down the door. You know, the quality of that he's provided over many years. Kick up toward half forward. Stone made his way to the front of the contest. Rode the bump. Handball away to Perryman. Giants have to give some ground. Now Whitfield's under pressure. Oh, the chip solo from Martin was spectacular. Drives it inside the forward 50. Buckley's first there. He shades Langford to the footy. Drives it back the other way for the Giants. Stone up in the marking contest. Slips out the back. Whitfield can't quite pick it up. And it'll go out of play for a boundary throw-in. Outer side of the ground. Giants by 2 goals, nearly half-time.
Yeah, that's it too many times. You tap the ball up to yourself with your foot running at full pace that Nick Martin just did, but he's kicked a few out of the full, but he's been bloody special today.
Jack Buckley equally as good there in a one-on-one against Kyle Langford.
Yep.
That is the siren for half-time. There's Darcy Parish with the last disposal at the half, just flicking out a hand pass. And it's a 12-point game, and Nick Martin was heavily involved in the concluding stages last week with a bit of push and shove with Jamie Cripps. In the end, was able to force a turnover and cost the Eagles a shot at goal late. He's having a bit of push and shove with Kieran Briggs. Must be said he's outsized in that matchup, but he's not afraid to mix it up, Nick Martin. Half-time, 2-goal lead for the visitors. 6-6-42, the Bombers 4-6-30, a 12-point advantage for the Giants. 2 for Jesse Hogan, which brings him to 300 in his career, averaging more than 2 goals a game. And then singles for Darcy Jones, Toby Green, Connor Stone and Jake Riccardi. While for the Bombers, Cole Langford's got a couple, 1 to Perkins, 1 to Davey. Off the SMS, JB in Elwood says, I just love that smiling goal umpire. He's living the dream. That smiling goal umpire is, of course, David Roden.
That man, Davey, isn't it?
Former Richmond and Port Adelaide footballer. So he's got a big smile on his face. Would have played against both Mark Murphy and
I reckon he played footy with a smile on his face.
He did, didn't he?
He did.
He's a very popular figure in the game.
Dancing with the Stars too.
No doubt.
He did. That was his. Well, that was when he was at his absolute best.
He played footy to go on Dancing with the Stars.
Matt in Canberra, another big Luke Ball fan here. Always so thoughtful and considered. Enjoying the call while Mother's Day shopping. Go the Giants. Thanks, Matt.
Cousin
picking
Matt.
up what you need. And Simon the Pessimistic Bomber, the SMS says, the great Darren the Jerk Greats played his 500th game for Adelaide Uni, which completely overshadowed 2 other players who were playing their 200th and the 100th in the same game. That'll do it. 500 games of footy. So well done to Darren Greats on that a milestone today. 0437 774 774 the SMS. Half-time at Docklands, Saturday twilight footy, halfway through the Saturday slate. The Giants by 12 points. Luke Ball and Mark Murphy with their thoughts today.
Well, entertaining half, Murph. Yeah, 2 good sides, as you said, and we spoke about the difference in the first quarter really was just around the Giants' ability to punish the Bombers on the turnover, which they do so well, number 2 in the comp, as we spoke about. But I really like the response from the Bombers that quarter. I think it started around the ball, a bit of personnel. Stringer goes in, has an immediate impact, and they really dialed their pressure up. Yep. And that allowed them to control the territory for a large part of that game and really made the Giants hang on in defence. And they did, both sides scrambling in defence really well, and the pressure is right up there. And both teams are top 4 in that sort of pressure factor as well this season. That's why they've been able to perform so well. So a really tight, tough quarter that time. And really, you'd probably say that the Bombers left a few out there. They had the better of that quarter and could very well be even closer. And what are they? I mean, they're only 2 goals down. So in the end, it was a bit of individual brilliance from Langford on both sides of the ground that got them the reward for that quarter. But you would say that they certainly had the better of it, and it could have been even closer.
I wouldn't quite call it a domination, but they certainly had the better of the Giants for the first 20 minutes. And as you said, they didn't make the most of those opportunities, but they got busy. They got their hands dirty around the contest, and they just started working harder. And I'm looking forward to seeing when this game's going to open up, because both these teams are so wisely in defence. They just hate giving up uncontested marks and uncontested footy. And both these sides, when they're at their best, their run and dash through the middle of the ground from their half-back flanks is a real highlight for both of them. So at some point the game's going to open up. It's going to be about who can work through and who can break through the opposition earlier than the other side. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the contest. Nick Martin's been really special off half-back, and he's had a couple of balls he'd probably like to have back, but when you've had it 21 times, you're probably going to have a few of those, aren't you? But they're looking pretty good, the Bombers. I was very impressed with them in that second quarter. When it looked like the Giants were not going to run away with it, but they just looked like they were stronger and tougher around the contest especially.
It looked like it was on their terms, didn't it? They had control. They were set up nicely in the middle of the ground and across half-back, and it looked like the Bombers were really struggling to penetrate that team defence. And it was that man, Nick Martin, I thought, that took the bit between the teeth and really ran in. He created that run off half-back. Picture a couple of bullet-like kicks back inside off the line that created overlap and goals. So he's been the one from the Bombers that got them going in that second quarter. Certainly, I think, being probably the best player on the ground, certainly for the Bombers in that first half. And the others then jumped on board. Yeah. Others sort of got involved, didn't they? And
I reckon the Essendon defending coach would have come out and given them a little bit of a tickle up, I reckon, at quarter time. And to their credit, they really responded. They had those 7 scores from 11 inside 50s, the Giants, in that first quarter, and then it was a lot harder for them to get forward. And I thought they defended much better as a unit, the Essendon defence.
Thoughts of Mark Murphy and Luke Ball, as I said, both involved in big footy stories of the last 48 hours and going back during the week. So
what have you done, Bally?
We'll put some of that to Luke Ball and Mark Murphy,
hasn't he?
After the latest
have to make something up here
from the ABC newsroom. Earlier today, it was the Hawks by 5 points over St Kilda down in Launceston, so 8-10-58 over St Kilda, 7-11-53. Great result for the Hawks. Not so much the Saints, finished in the top 6 last year, of course, had a home final, but tough start to the new season under Ross Lyon. They beat the Saints last week. On the wrong side of the result today, so Hawthorn get themselves to 3-6, and the Saints fall to 3-6 on the premiership table. GWS by 12 points at halftime over the Bombers. More from Mark Murphy and Luke Ball in just a moment. In the meantime, we'll see what's happening in the ABC newsroom. Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The federal opposition is accusing the government of dressing up existing housing funding as a new commitment ahead of next week's federal budget. The Prime Minister has struck a new housing deal with the states and territories worth more than $9 billion over the next 5 years. A further $1 billion will be allocated for crisis accommodation for people fleeing domestic and family violence. However, Shadow Housing Minister Michael Sukkar argues it's not all new money.
Today we see repackaged, reheated money that's already been announced many times over by this government, purporting to be new funding, presumably because they want Australians to think that they understand the housing crisis.
The permanent representative of the State of Palestine at the United Nations has hailed a resolution by the UN General Assembly granting Palestinians more rights within the organisation. Riyad Mansour says the right of Palestinians to join the UN cannot be determined by Israel, as the BBC's John Sudworth explains.
The General Assembly does not have the power to confer full membership to Palestine. That is a power that only belongs to the Security Council. So this was largely symbolic, but it does also make a few material changes. It does confer on Palestine, in its non-member observer status, a few extra rights and privileges. So, for example, this vote going through today will mean that Palestine will now enjoy the ability to take part in pretty much all debates, which it didn't have before, that it'll be able to propose agenda items, and it will be able to get its representatives nominated to committees.
The Federal Agriculture Minister says sheep welfare standards will be addressed nationally as part of the transition plan to end the live sheep export industry. Murray Watt has announced the live sheep export industry will end on the 1st of May 2028. As part of a $107 million transition package for the industry, $2.6 million will be used to improve sheep transport standards nationally. Senator Watt says the National Transport Welfare Guidelines are outdated.
One of the things that I expect that money will be used for is to update the guidelines that apply to the transportation of sheep within Australia. Those guidelines are very out of date. They haven't been looked at for a very long time, and we do need to make sure that they reflect contemporary standards.
Heavy rain has caused some local flash flooding in parts of the Illawarra and the New South Wales south coast. The State Emergency Service says there's been more than 240 incidents in the past 24 hours across New South Wales. It says flood warnings have been issued for possible minor flooding at St George's Basin, the Maruya and Dooya rivers on the south coast, as well as the Hawkesbury region in Sydney. Sydney's Warragamba Dam has now reached 100% capacity. And a missing bushwalker in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney has spent a cold and wet night before being found by a volunteer rescue team. The 38-year-old woman from Sydney's east became lost last night in rugged terrain near Katoomba. Carol Ryan from the State Emergency Service Bush Search and Rescue Unit says it was a great outcome to find the woman in a relatively short time this morning.
So the teams let out some calls and some whistles, and within about an hour of searching, off track, heard some calls from the missing person, and yeah, lots of happiness all around, some tears of happiness, and she was very, very happy to see us.
US experts are warning that powerful solar flares could disrupt satellite and communication networks. Scientists say they've observed a series of unusually strong solar flares and coronal mass ejections around the sun, potentially causing geomagnetic storms on planet Earth. They say the first materials released by the sun reached Earth yesterday, and storms could persist over the weekend. In sport, Maroons fans have gathered in Brisbane CBD to show their support for the Queensland Women's State of Origin rugby league team. Antonio O'Flaherty has more on this story.
The Maroons are gearing up to take on New South Wales next week to kick off the first ever three-match Women's State of Origin competition. Ahead of the clash, fans gathered on the Queen Street Mall to catch a glimpse of the players.
I was really happy that I could come and see all the players.
I live in Queensland and it's the
best in the world. Maroons fullback Tamika Upton says it's been great to see so many young girls in the crowd.
Yeah, it's really cool. Obviously, they're growing up seeing it, and it's normal for them to see women play on the big stage. And obviously, if they have that dream, you know, they can chase that. The Maroons will face the Sky Blues at Lang Park in Brisbane on Thursday.
This is ABC News.
Hi there, Lisa Miller here. Isn't it great to get outside for a breath of fresh air? It's one of life's simple pleasures, right? Well, I can help you to keep something else simple too. Finding news you can trust. You can stay in the know with ABC News. Download the app and receive alerts to your phone. Visit the ABC News website. And for stories straight to your inbox, subscribe to one of our newsletters. It's all the latest, all verified, all the time. Stay in the know with ABC News.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Big fly over the top from Hogan. Couldn't take the mark. Riccardi had a hand to it. Oh, Goldstein in the defensive goal square. Stone Cold dropped it. And Toby Green socketed back past him. The hand pass to the ruck in the defensive goal square. And Toby Green pounces on the opportunity.
It's an underrated skill, the handball, still in modern footy. They work on it at training, but that had to be at the chest of the big fella. Puts it at his ankles, costs him a goal.
Onto the chest of Perkins. Now to the run of Merritt. Loops the handball over the top. Set Durham-Matas back into the path of Merritt. Now to Perkins. 52 out. Loads up and launches.
Crash him out after it. First one there. Hand pass to Davey. He's out. Kicks into the forward pocket and Langford just inside the boundary line. Marks left forward pocket about 30 metres out for the Bombers. Often see players having pins from out here. That is a superb finish. And the Bombers have found a bit of momentum. 2 in a row for the Dons. Jesse Hogan. Set shot, sails goalward. It's there. He's having a career year and now a career milestone for Jesse Hogan. Goal number 300.
Ball tossed back in. Goldstein wins it down into the path of Stringer, who flares it across the face and it lands with Langford.
Great pass.
Jade Stringer with the cross from 7 metres out. And Langford's marked at 25 out up against the boundary line right forward pocket. So Kyle Langford's going to go the checky from tight in the right forward pocket. No worries at all. 3 in the quarter for the Bombers. Margin back to 12.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
4 games on the Saturday slate for round 9. One of them already complete. It was Hawthorn by 5 points. Somewhat of an upset over St Kilda at York Park in Launceston. Meanwhile, here at Docklands, it is half-time. Top 8 tussle. GWS leading the Bombers by just 2 goals. The Bombers having the better of that second term, and yet it's the Giants still on top by 12 points at the half. Corbin Middlemass alongside Joel Peterson, Jess Webster on the boundary, the 300 gamer Mark Murphy, and the Collingwood Premiership Pie in Luke Ball. 2 games still to come tonight, of course. Richmond up against the Western Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have had a hot week. Pressure on coach Luke Beveridge. Let's see what they deliver tonight. And the first of 2 games in the space of a week up in Darwin. The Gold Coast Suns home away from home. They will host North Melbourne there tonight. We have calls available of both games available through the ABC Listen app. I have promised the big news of the week. Both of our analysts are heavily involved. Might start with Luke Ball. So, far less controversial one. Bally,
I'm nervous.
Is it true, Bally, that you were invited back into the Collingwood Football Club earlier today?
I was, Corb. Yeah, it's a nice story. You made me nervous there. Yeah.
Real gotcha moment.
That's right. One of the great.
What are you hiding? Is there something else going on?
Start sweating over here. What happens when you're at school?
I should have let you lead. I said, Bally, why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Look, I'm thrilled and chuffed. One of the great things that Collingwood, I think, and look, a lot of clubs do this sort of thing. I think over the last couple of years, certainly since Craig McRae's taken over, got invited back. There's going to be a couple of debutantes tomorrow at the Pies, and usually I think it's someone who's worn the number in the past, comes back and hands over the number. Actually, I better check. The team's been announced before. They have. So anyway, Jack Vitale is making his debut tomorrow. Murph, he's number 27.
Yep.
And it became sort of clear when they were going to make the inclusion that they couldn't find an old number 27 to come back. So What's another angle they could take? Of course, he got drafted by St Kilda. He's made the move from St Kilda to Collingwood. So anyway, I got a call yesterday and asked if I could come back in and present the jumper at the captain's run meeting, which was obviously a huge thrill and honour to do. So went in there this morning, Corb, on the way to AFL Saturday, and yeah, it was fantastic and just great. I don't know about you, Murph, whenever you go back, I just get these sort of great little sort of washes of nostalgia come over me. And I think the club's certainly changed a little bit, even in the 10 years now since I last played. But
you sort of realise,
and a few heads still there. Obviously, Pendles and Steele still there, but a lot else has changed and a lot of new faces. But you do get that sort of rush. And I took two of my kids back there. They hadn't been to the club, so. Yeah, it was a great little hour spent at the club this morning, Corp.
Yeah, you sort of realise how sacred that little bond is between playing AFL football and what they share day to day and what they go through. And
it is
to walk back in and
you miss it.
And be some little part of it. You certainly do miss it.
You walk past the physio room, you don't miss. You sort of have a little shiver in down the spine. Yeah, you don't miss the doctor's room. You don't miss the times that you have to spend in there, but. When you're in the intersecting there, it's fantastic. And obviously being Mother's Day tomorrow, the Pies are playing. Again, one of the things that we saw him do last year so well, Craig McRae had invited back or asked the players to bring in their mother, and every player who could was sitting next to their mum in the circle for the captain's run meeting. So that sort of stuff he does so well.
We do know the team news. So Jamie Elliott was the latest one to come out. So from last week's team, Elliott, Myercheck, Schultz, McCreary, 4 from the forward line, none of them playing. Jeremy Howe is going to play forward. Craig McRae announced that at his press conference yesterday. Jordan De Goey's still missing. Of course, he won't play, so Jack Bytel makes his club debut. And Joe Richards, out of the Ovens and Murray League, 24-year-old school teacher, is going to make his debut. Famous surname, no relation, is my understanding to the famous Richards, obviously at the Collingwood Football Club, but good luck to 24-year-old Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's number 29. So Kevin Rose came back, who I think's in his 80s now, came back and brought his old number 29 jumper back and handed over the new one. So that was a lovely touch today as well. No Bo McCreary, so no, was it Julie McCreary? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, so no, yeah, unfortunately her didn't make an appearance today, so there was an opportunity for some of the other mums to step up.
All right, well handled, Paulie. Now my attention turns to Luke Ball, from Luke Ball to Mark Murphy. I was minding my own business watching Channel 9 News during the week, and Tom Morris came on to present a story. He's wearing a prototype for a premiership ring. He said there's a push for the AFL premiership teams to receive premiership rings. It's in its very formative stages, and he ran through a bunch of people involved. He said Andrew Dillon, thought, yep, chief executive of the AFL. Eddie Maguire, involved in everything, understood. Ben Dixon, I thought, okay, a little obscure. And then I was like, that's good on them. They're all heavily involved. I don't have much to do with any of those people, so I wouldn't expect to know what they're doing business-wise. And then the fourth name he mentioned was Mark Murphy, who I share the airwaves with every Monday and most weekends on ABC Sport. Heavily involved in the push for premiership rings. The first I'm hearing about it is out of Tom Morris's mouth.
Oh, I told you there was something coming in coming weeks, didn't I?
You didn't say it was coming from Tom Morris.
I didn't expect it to come on Thursday night before the news, but he got the heads up from the AFL that there was going to be something that was going to be broken. But only some initial discussions at the moment, Corbin. But I believe there's a place for it in our game. I'd like to ask Bally, like being a part of a premiership team, and obviously the guys who win it on the game day, there's guys who play, there might be guys who play 10, 12 games throughout the season, really contribute to that side winning a premiership. Just sort of feel that they're sort of missing out on something that really acknowledges their hard work. And
so are you hoping this is in place of premiership medallions or in addition?
No, in addition. So we'd probably ideally be given out prior to the next season starting. It takes a bit of time to get the rings done and get everyone sized up. I just think it acknowledges not only just the playing squad, but all of the coaches. I know Craig McRae said last year that he felt embarrassed to almost wear the medallion where the rest of his coaching staff don't get one. So I think it even goes to footy admin and board as well.
Wow, there you go. And you just thought, look, I'm happy to volunteer my time and services to be involved in the push for premiership rings.
A great mate who's Melbourne mate and doing some good things overseas, and always been a dream of his to do something in that space. And we've got a meeting next week.
Was the prototype that Tom was wearing, was that one of his?
No,
that was a different
certainly
company.
not. No, right. No, I wouldn't do that.
There's a bit of competition on to see who gets a chance to push.
Certainly some merit in it, isn't it? I think when I first saw it, I thought, not in place of the medal, but I think at a club-based level, clearly there's a precedence with the American model, isn't there? But I think it's certainly got some merit, because you're right, there's so many that put so much time and effort into a successful team every year.
Second half upon us. Joel Peterson on ABC Sport. The Giants by 12 points as we start the third term.
Bombers with 3 goals in that second term. Able to narrow the gap somewhat after the Giants got off to a hot start. What can they do in terms of damage here as we go throughout the second half? Immediately Merritt with the opening clearance. Kicks inside the forward 50. Langford crashing in. Can't take the mark. Ash goes through the pack. 35 out from the Bombers' goal. Crunching tackle from Parrish. Some early intent from Essendon as they come out of the sheds at half-time. A solid Bombers crowd in this afternoon here at Docklands. They'll be enthused by the energy early at the stoppage. Guelphy. Handball only as far as Josh Kelly. Perryman on the outside of the boot, outside the 50, bounced off the hand and then the bonds of Connor Stone. Hine picked it up, gave it straight to Josh Kelly. Handball to Cornelio, handball to Callahan, infield to Ward.
Ward, hand pass away to Whitfield, centre half back. The Giants trying to slingshot it down the ground, kicks to the outer wing for Bedford. Markson plays on, hand pass to the running Haynes, 52 metres out, kicks to the hot spot. Riccardi leaping up for it, no mark. Comes down towards Daniels, still in the Giants' hands. Hand pass away to Toby Green. Gets his right peg free, swings goalward and kicks the first of the second half. Toby's got a couple and a tone setter for GWS. It comes 70 seconds after half-time and the Giants back out by 18 points. 7-6, the Bombers 4-6. Mark Murphy, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
That is the orange tsunami, as they coined it, and it's very best. If you were to draw up a ball movement drill at training, Murph, that is it to a T.
101.
Absolutely magnificent. It's the usual suspects involved. Kelly bringing it inboard. Whitfield, just a beautiful kick out to open space. And in the end, it didn't result in the mark inside 50, but again, they commit the numbers and get to work at ground level, and Toby Green does the rest. Just great to watch.
It's the change of angles, isn't it? So it was a skill area here for the Essendon player on one flank of the ground, and then it was just a mad rush of handball, kick out the open side, and then a back in change of angles to Riccardi, who forced the contest, and then obviously Green just finishes like he always does.
And the wave comes crashing down, and he's so hard to defend. Stringer back in the middle for Essendon, handball forward. Can't find a teammate on the end of it, but eventually it works its way out. Guelphy got it up by hand to Durham, out to Merritt. Merritt chips it over the top to Cox at left half forward. Now the run of Zach Merritt. Spears the pass into the pocket on the chest of Langford, who's charging out from full forward. Immediately wheels around, goes the snap from 45, hits the fat side of the footy, and Guelphy drags it down. Stood in front of Callahan, in from the side, pulls in the mark. 25 out, slight angle right of centre.
All's well that ends well, Paulie, sometimes, and Zach Merritt almost playing with him out of the centre square bounce. It's the double-up possession, but why wouldn't you want to have it in his hands with the way in which he used the ball? But Langford could have taken an extra few seconds to really steady up and be patient, but anyway, went on his way and fortuitously lands in his arms.
Some of the goal assists have been unorthodox from the Bombers, but the finishes have been anything but. Matt Guelphy steers it through, and Essendon with the instant answer to start this third term. 3 played, a goal to each. We're back where we started the half. 12 points the margin in the favour of the Giants on ABC Sports. Saturday afternoon footy from Docklands.
Yeah, spot on, Murph. I'm not sure why Kyle Langford didn't take his time. He almost marked that in the identical spot as to one of his shots for goal, his successful shots for goal in that second quarter, but played on and hit the belly of the ball. Matt Guelphy in the right spot at the right time. Too much space. I'm not sure who his direct opponent is. Guelphy tends to play that. I think he's got the Whitfield job as that sort of defensive forward, but or Ash as well. But yeah, Merritt was the one, wasn't he, out of the centre bounce. He's the one who's recognised that this is a big sort of moment in the game, isn't it?
And his legs have really come into it in this second half.
Beautiful kick, wasn't it, to Langford?
Goal for Guelphy and a goal for Toby Green to start this second half. Back to 12 points, back in the middle. Goldstein tackled, dispossessed. Upsays holding the ball. So just dropped it out. He claims he hand passed it. And the umpire, who was in the perfect position, says nope. And it's holding the ball on a free kick for the Giants. So Briggs and GWS get the centre break. Kicks in the Hogan direction. Lands on top of Laverty. Can't take the mark. Comes back to him though. Centre half back for the Bombers. Hand pass to Stringer. Just backs it into space on the broadcast wing. Buckley there with Langford. Langford does very well. Paddles it the advantage of Davey. Hand pass to right. Kicks to half forward. Langford and Iden. And President Iden just punches it out of bounds. We'll have a throw in here. 60 metres out from the Bombers' goal. 7-6 to 5-6. A 12-point lead for GWS. We've travelled 4.5 into the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Second of what is 4 games. We've got a double header tonight. Either the Bulldogs and the Tigers, or in Darwin it'll be the Suns and the Roos.
Briggs with strength out of the ruck for the Giants. Whacks it up the line, straight into the breadbasket of Jaden Laverty, who marks defensive side of the AFL logo on the broadcast side. Shoots the kick back to McGrath. He goes inside the defensive 50 within 35 of the Giants' goal to Kelly. Jake Kelly into the centre of the ground now for Durham. He flares it out to Laverty. So possession footy from the Bombers.
Yeah, they're really trying to spread the ground really wide and with length at the moment. Essendon just trying to open up some pockets of space to work into.
Redmond's had it 13 times already. Coming up for disposal number 14. They continue this chipping game. Now to Parrish, who wants to move it on with some urgency. Sends it in the right direction. Worked under it that time by Taylor. Such an accomplished defender, Sam Taylor. And he takes the intercept mark for the Giants. Chips it short to Perryman.
It's worth its weight in gold, isn't it? A player who can do that, even out of position there, Sam Taylor. It's just sensational stuff.
Goes long down the wing, Perryman. Goldstein got his mitts around it, takes a towering mark. Lays it off for the Bombers to McGrath. They reload again. Kicks to centre half forward. Langford the target, and floating back Nick Haynes, as he so often does. Intercept mark, centre half back for the Giants. Swings the kick wide. Wanted Bedford. Nick Martin breaks it up, knocks it out of bounds, and a throw-in. Good result for the Bombers, and they'll get a forward 50 stoppage, boundary throw-in between wing and half forward.
Yeah, he's obviously had the 21 disposals, Nick Martin, but then just the work rate to cover off that outlet to force another stoppage. That's what his coach would love to see when he's playing on that half-back flank.
Thoughts of Mark Murphy on ABC Sport alongside Luke Ball, your experts. Ball tossed back in. Goldstein palms it down, taken by his opposite ruckman in Briggs. Tumbles it up the line to Ward Martin, who had it and lost it for the Bombers. Tom Green was clean. Handball infield to Cornelio right on halfway. Weaves his way through the traffic. Back to Tom Green. Kick toward half forward, sitting under it Stone. Redmond reaches over, knocks it loose. Chases it out toward the boundary line. 2 Giants accost him. He won't keep it in. And we'll have a boundary throw in between the wing and half forward for the Giants. Joel Peterson, Corbin Middlemass calling the footy for you on ABC Sport. 7 minutes played, third term. GWS 7-6, Essendon 5-6. 2 goals to Jesse Hogan, 2 for Kyle Langford for either side. Merritt through the stoppage. Bombers fans wanted a free kick, won't get it. Caldwell burst away, kept the legs pumping. Handball defensively to Heppel, picked it up off the ground, spears it infield to Perkins, Bombers away again.
Takes a bounce literally in the middle of Dockland Stadium. He turns and kicks deep towards Langford, caught at the back. Ball hits the deck, Langford's onto it, spins, goals! The Bombers with a couple on the bounce, and we got a 1-score game. A third for Langford. GWS by 6 points, 8 minutes into the third quarter. The Bombers 6-6-42. GWS 7-6-48. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Luke Ball and Mark Murphy.
Just winning one-on-ones at the moment, Murph. That's really what the game is. It's a terrific game. There's one-on-one contests happening all over the park, and the Bombers were able to do that around the stoppage, and then they're spreading really well. That's what's standing out at the moment. That's what's the difference between the first quarter now. All of a sudden, there's Essendon jumpers turning up, aren't they, for the next handball, the next possession, and Perkins is starting to get involved. I thought he could have given the handball to Merritt, had him running over, but he saw the one-on-one fall to the ball, and it's a great battle, Buckley-Langford, isn't it? Buckley certainly had his moments, and we know he's such a terrific one-on-one play, but the last couple, Langford's had his measure, and that was just a pure one-on-one win in the forward 50.
So here comes Essendon's charge, back in the middle. Goldstein punches it forwards. Perkins from long range, kicks to Langford again, who's having his way with the Giants' defence at the moment. He steams out from the square, accepts it to his chest, 30 from home. He'll go back and kick for a 4th.
I dare say the Essendon midfield's been loving the way in which Todd Goldstein at the moment putting the ball in a silver platter. That was just a punch forward into space, but they obviously had that as a set play where all the forwards came back off the centre square bounce.
Love that one.
Open up that yardage for him to run into, and what a disposal, hitting Langford on the chest.
So Kyle Langford to draw the Bombers square. He matches the famous number on his back with his 4th. And we are all tied up on a Saturday afternoon under the lid. 7-6-48 Essendon and GWS. 9 minutes played, third term. ABC Sport, you're with Mark Murphy and Luke Ball.
Yeah, and the ruck battle's been a really good one too. And Briggs, certainly as the ball hits the ground, we know he's got the advantage over Todd Goldstein. But just, again, using his experience there, 10,000 hit-outs last week, the first to do it. And that was a beauty. Sometimes, Murph, there's nothing wrong with that. Get the ball going our way. I love that. Forwards hold back. Get the speed out of the midfield. Perkins, who probably could have run and had a shot, but saw the space in front of Langford and put it out and drew him into it. Sometimes he can get hot like this, Cole Langford, and he's a really hard player to stop. I mean, he's got two of the better defenders down there at the moment in the competition on him, but he is red hot.
Crowd roaring. He's up to 24 for the season on the back of 50 last year for Cole Langford. Out of the middle, Perkins under pressure. Hand pass away to Callaghan. He's taken high. Free kick for Finn Callaghan. And the road team will get the free kick. You can hear the reaction. Short to Canelio. Flares it to Josh Kelly. Marks, takes a bounce, closes to 48 out. Josh Kelly looks for home. Drops the hammer. Josh Kelly on the run. Puts the Giants back out in front. And that is pure class. The lefty with the clean finish from 48 out on the run, and the Giants lead by that goal. 12 gone third term, 8-6 to 7-6. Takes a bit of air out of the Bombers' balloon. Mark Murphy, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
Oh, what a way to take the air out of the stadium. And Josh Kelly, as soon as you saw the yardage in front of him, you just knew he was running onto his preferred side. And he's just too classy to leave like someone like that in that much space. And I don't know who the forward was who was leading up, but realised that the yardage was in front of him and just pulled his defender away, which is really smart, unselfish play. And when you got these stars who patrol the midfield in Kelly and Caniglio, you just want to give them the opportunity to use their legs.
It was a young bloke, though. I love the hard ball get from Finn Callaghan, who hasn't had a great day, has he, to this point, but he really screwed his guts up there, won the free kick, got it to Caniglio, and then Kelly with the class.
11 goals already this season for Josh Kelly. Just on the armband on the way through as well. For a mate gone too soon. And the clearance, Heppel marks it for the Bombers. Out to Martin, drives it up to half forward. Jake Stringer wanted a free kick, so did about 35,000 Essendon supporters.
The umpires called it, the offside umpires called it.
Robert Finlay was in the centre of the ground and does reward Jake Stringer. Hence the cheer. Stringer kicks inside the forward 50 at the bootlaces of right. Ricochets away to Heppel. Off a step, 55 out. Kicks to full forward. Jones is there. He closed in on Himmelberg, but he was too late. And the Giant takes the mark at the top of the defensive goal square. His team up by 6 points. Essendon are closing at a rapid rate. 12.5 gone third term.
Himmelberg, a long kick out towards the outer wing. Gee, huge sit from Cadman. Can't come down with it. Didn't touch the footy. The ump says unrealistic attempt. One of their many number one picks, Aaron Cadman, a couple of years ago. Free kick for the Bombers. Hines going to take it. Back in the team today. Crowded forward 50, just lays it up with a hot spot. They come from all directions. Buckley punches it away. Ball hits the deck. Ash has got it. He's tackled, taken to ground, and we'll get another stoppage. Ball up. Forward pocket for the Bombers. High team, great project, Murph. Pity we can't go back in the past and present them out. The past premiership players.
Wouldn't bother me.
Yes, I imagine so. That's right. Wins the hit out. The ball comes back to him. Hand pass to Caldwell. Shoots goalward. He's missed the whole set. Out on the full.
Fortunately, Corbin. You don't go off the NAB Cup win in 2007.
Can you imagine the big, what was it, big tub trophy that they presented?
That was a Wizard Cup one, I reckon.
Yeah, you could make it on the, make it into a ring, I'm sure. You probably used the same medal that was involved. 6-point lead for the Giants. 13.5 gone third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
They chip it around defensively, the Giants. Iden Buckley and Taylor share it among the three of them, and Taylor's got it in the right back pocket. Game 100 for the All-Australian defender. Kicks long down the outer side looking for Cadman. Laverty brought it down. It spills away to Martin, who's running rough shot over them this afternoon. Tumbles the kick inside the forward 50. Momentary opportunity there for Perryman. Handball forward. Bedford had it, lost it. Still on the forward 50 for the Bombers. Kelly again shows his class for the Giants. Bedford's handball goes amiss. He was looking for Callaghan, got dragged down. Hind right there with him. Giants work it out. Tom Green, centre of the outer wing. He drives a low kick up toward the edge of the 50. Toby Green's on the end of it. He sets sail for home. Wide in the right forward pocket. Not where Jesse Hogan wanted it. Not where anyone wanted it. Out of bounds on the full.
The Giants want to go quick, and the Bombers trying to match them at the moment as Mackay moves it in quickly but turns it over. Toby Green back to the hot spot. Mackay huts out after it, trying to clean up his mess. Hand pass over to Perkins. He's tackled, dispossessed. Parrish at half-back for Essendon. Hand pass away to McGrath. Kicks into open space on that City wing. Ball bounces in front of Buckley and Harry Jones. Buckley first one there for the Giants. Hand pass back inboard. Himmelberg clever. Taps it to Perryman's advantage. Short kick missed the target. Picked up by McGrath of Essendon. Hand pass away to right. Handball down the wing. Here's Caldwell against his old mob. Hand pass back to Hind. Defensive side of the wing. Goes for a run. Kicks down to half forward, and here's Harry Jones marking out in front. If he's not, he's paid the mark. You'll get it here. Between wing and half forward for Essendon. Harry Jones, goalless last week. Certainly busy in the 5 weeks before that, kicking 8 goals. He's going to send the Dons in to attack here, right in the pack. Fist comes at the back from Himmelberg down towards Tom Green. Hand pass to Perryman. Short kick out of the defensive arc. Throw a blanket over around 20 players. Eventually it'll come out to Davey. He leaves it behind. Just a rolling maul at the moment. Parrish on the bottom of that. Umpire still circles and eventually says ball up. Outer edge of the centre square on the City side. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Giants by just 6 points. 16 gone in the third.
Joel Peterson and Colvin Middlemass calling it for you. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy are experts. Jess Webster on the boundary. They dive in at the stoppage. Whitfield, Josh Kelly hold things up. They're going to be rewarded. Perkins didn't make a genuine attempt to get rid of it. And Whitfield jabs the kick into the centre of the ground for Daniels for the Giants. He goes to the helmeted Darcy Jones. 70 metres from home. Long lead from Hogan. That's ignored as he assesses his options. And now he gets one from Cadman. Bashed away. Great defensive work from Laverty. And McGrath was there in the right time at the right place. Handball out wide to Caldwell. Kicks down the line looking for Langford. Brought it down to his bootlaces. Handball back to Jones. Lofts it over the top for Langford. Now at right half forward. Gresham's there. He marks. Plays on. Umpire didn't call play on. How is it not 50? He's got numbers in the square. That's the direction in which he'll go. Sets it up for Stringer. Oh, the rise from Stringer. Couldn't pull it in. Parrish is there. Top of the defensive goal square, the Giants. Through Josh Kelly and now Iden. Little chip into the back pocket was a dangerous one, but they'll be good enough to clear here, GWS.
Riccardi bounces it out to Bedford at half-back. He puts it out on the full. And it's the Bombers now who are bringing the heat defensively. 6-point lead for the Giants. What a sit Stringer got. Couldn't come down with the footy as the Dons work it down towards Hind. He marks it left half forward. Now pokes it inside the attacking arc. Not a good kick for Stringer. He cleans it up. Collects on the half volley and goals. The package delivers. And the scores are level. 18 gone in the third. And Jake Stringer imposes himself on this game. 54 points apiece. 8-6 each of 2. 18 gone in the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Mark Murphy and Luke Ball.
Well, I think we all need to take a breath. It's been physically taxing, hasn't it, over the past probably 5 or 6 minutes. Just the ball going up and back and just contest after contest. And Jakey Stringer, Corby, as he said, almost took mark of the century down there. And he's just one of these players who just does the impossible. And then it was a kick from Hind, and it was at his bootlaces. Stringer in one touch and just knows where the goals are and just pinned the ears back and just knew straight away that he hit it straight flush through the middle of the goals.
He's one of those red dot guys that you've got to be worried about when the game's on the line and you're looking for someone to step up and take over. He's the guy with that dot next to him.
Front of the stoppage here is pretty open for Essendon too, so maybe there might be something similar we saw before.
Riggs reaches over the top of Goldstein at the restart. Durham's at the back of the stoppage and they will emerge here, the Bombers. Durham with a bounce. He drives a low kick inside the 50 over the head of Perkins, and coming forward to mark was Taylor. Read it well off the boot. Langford slipped over behind the play and Taylor just silences the Bombers crowd, at least for now. They've kicked 3 goals, in fact 4 goals straight here in this term, Essendon. The Giants have kicked 2 goals straight. So they've been accurate, both teams. It's been high-octane pinballing stuff from end to end. Tom Green inside the defensive 50, shares it by hand with Ash, drives his kick toward the wing. Hind bashes it away from Darcy Jones. And we will have a ball up. Broadcast side beneath us here in the ABC Sport commentary box. 19 and a half minutes gone in the third term. They cannot be split, the Giants and the Bombers, 8-6 apiece.
The Bombers certainly covering off those outlets at the moment really well. Just the Giants are finding it really hard to try and find some uncontested marks.
Boundary throw in, Goldstein reaching over the back, palms it down. Oh, surely. Perkins tackled without the footy by Whitfield. Ump says keep going. Tom Green kicks it forward and Mackay takes the intercept mark for the Bombers. Hand pass away to Andy McGrath, who's been excellent again. Short kick to Perkins. Marks right on halfway. Scores level as we tick into time on in this third term. The Giants once led by 22 points in the second quarter. Perkins goes inside 50. Langford underneath the footy, and Sam Taylor done it all day. Takes the intercept mark here at fullback for GWS. Scores level, 20 and a half gone third quarter. Saturday footy, ABC Sport.
Back to Ash on a jinking run inside the defensive 50. Lofts the handball out to Ward. Just had to knock it on to Himmelberg, not take possession. He got it to Callaghan. Callaghan kicks to the wing. And look, Birdie off the bench. Rammed over Nick Haynes and gives away a free. Nick Haynes does the big crocodile snap at him back for the footy. Kicks towards Stone. Going back with the flight inside the forward 50. He's dragged down by Cox and a ball up 45 from home for the Giants. Bombers fans not enjoying that, but they are energised. They're involved in the game now. Scores tight inside forward 50 for the Giants. Tom Green off the stoppage, screws it around the body. Bedford brought it down to himself, read it beautifully, ran into the wall at the end of things. And Hine picks it up in the defensive pocket. Handball to Martin. He couldn't take it cleanly. Cadman had to play at it. They all fire in inside forward 50 for the Giants. Not going anywhere. Stoppage 35 metres from goal. 21 and a half gone third term. And the octane has been raised here in this quarter.
Last of the top 8 matchups for the weekend. All the top 8 teams playing one another. 2 of them decided by a goal or less. And we headed in the same direction here from the restart. Hind hurried kick forward to Gresham. And everyone just exhales for the time being. Gresham at half-back for the Bombers. Goes on a run with not a heap of options up ahead. Hand pass to Martin. Kicks out wide to Hind. Scores level. 22 gone third quarter. Hind short to Cox. And here 2 metre tall Nick Cox. What an athlete he is. Drafted back in 2020. Top 10 pick. Kicks down the wing. Looking for Perkins. Missed him. Buckley breaks it up. Got it to Tom Green. Hand pass trying to get it back to Buckley. His direct opponent Langford collects. Whacks it out as he hits the deck. Hogan leaves it behind. Tom Green clean. Hand pass away towards Taylor. Handball back down the wing. Josh Kelly. Head over the footy. Gresham goes in, wins it for the Bombers. Hand pass too slick for Perkins.
And now the Giants back in possession. Tom Green to Ward to Callaghan, who arches the back, finds Whitfield with a hand pass infield, slips the tackle. Now to Lockie Ash, edge of the centre square, looks goalward, sees Toby Green. Hines with a decisive fist. Punches it through over the behind line for a rushed score. It hands the Giants back the lead, but it was a telling intervention. 23 played third term, that's the margin.
He's good Hine, back into the team today, hasn't he? He's been really, his usual offensive dash, but he's won some really good one-on-one contests. Tom Green's lifted his rating. You talk about the game. Tom Green's up to 11 possessions for the quarter.
Jake Kelly kicks out to half-back. Flying for it is Durham. Ball hits the deck. Canelio hurried kick forward. Bounces out of play. Says throw it in. 55 out from the Giants goal. Only changed Nick Hine from the team that beat West Coast last week, so he comes in for an injured Xavier Dersma. Tore his quad. Actually, during the week he was kicking at practice, and it wasn't the quad that he was kicking the ball with, it was the other one. So very unusual off his tearing his left quad, so he'll be out for at least a month from the boundary throw-in. Goldstein down to Durham as he kicks down the wing, and his right takes the mark. Got it in front of the benches for the Bombers. Giants by a point.
Stringer streaming back toward goal. Wright uses the short handball to Merritt. Now off his left peg. Have a look at that delivery. That is an absolute laser beam from Zach Merritt. And he finds Harry Jones, 45 from home for the Bombers, better than a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, beautiful kick, wasn't it, Murph? It was a brilliant clearance from
Durham.
From Sam Durham.
Yeah.
Again, just his ability. He's got speed, hasn't he? We know he's got the big tank, but his ability to step out of a congested situation. It's the difference in his game this year, isn't it? And then a beautiful kick to advantage to Peter Ryder, who's got his hands full with Sam Taylor, we know. But great running from Zach Merritt as well. Sets up this shot at goal.
The 23-year-old, he's starting to make a name for himself. He strikes this one and tugs it to the left as Harry Jones and ties the scores once more. 8-7 apiece, 24 and a half gone third term. Right, you can be with us on ABC Sports. Saturday afternoon footy. Here's Corbin Middlemass.
Scores level for the third time in the third quarter. Giants have led all day. As the kick out marked by Ash, his kick to half-back goes too wide. Just clean missed Darcy Jones. Put it out on the full. And Sammy Durham can reload for the Bombers, 70 metres out. He's going to go back and across to Ben Mackay. Final 4 minutes of the third term. It's been Essendon's quarter so far, 4 goals to 2. Short to Laverty, short to Redmond. The Bombers trying to catch the Giants on the mark, choosing not to stand and trying to drop back to protect space. Redmond drops it short to Caldwell. He looks inside the forward 50. Goes out wide to right. No mark. He's Merritt in the pocket. Merritt 30 out, half forward, goes all the way back, and Redmond has got
him up.
A step outside the 50.
I reckon the umpire,
he's given him a couple
giving him
of
a metre. Well, that's Jesse Hogan's fault too. Poor attention to detail. He's marked that 2 metres outside 50, no doubt about it. The umpire's going to put the mark right on 50, so this is absolutely in Mason Redmond's zone, albeit late in the third quarter. We'll see how much jelly the legs have in them.
From 22 points down, they conceded 5 of the first 6 goals, the Bombers. Against a competition heavyweight in the Giants. The booming right foot drop point is a goal. The Bombers are in front. They get their nose in front for the first time tonight. And it comes at the 27-minute mark of the third term. And a booming right foot drop punt from Mason Redmond. The Bombers on top, 9-7-61. The Giants 8-7-55. First lead change of the game. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy, ABC Sport.
Didn't matter, did it? Didn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He could have marked at 60.
He certainly creeped 2 metres on the mark. But
he kicked it at the 10th row.
Just the fact that he's gone back. It didn't even, as you see most players who they'll veer out to their right to get an extra few metres and take out the man on the mark. He just went straight as an arrow, straight over the mark and kicked it 10 rows back, as you said. What a weapon that foot is. And what a kick by Zach Merritt to pinpoint someone who's had 4 blokes around them.
Merritt's in everything at the moment. Giants need to tighten up.
First goal of the season for Mason Redmond. What a time to do it. And the Dons will get the clearance as well. Merritt's handball forward. Whitfield was absolutely crunched. Spilt to Caldwell. Now to Durham. Back to Caldwell. Pokes it inside the 50 to Jones. Harry Jones comes sliding out to mark. 40 metres out. 20-degree angle to the right of centre.
They're just getting the basics done really well at the moment, Essendon. They're the one who their skills are better at the moment than the Giants. They're hitting their hands. But that's how you bump. That's how you bump legally too. Off the half-forward flank there, the Giants have looked like they were going to spread and run away with it, but it was the hit. And then it was Caldwell who's been terrific in this third quarter too, lacing out the key target.
So Harry Jones to put the Bombers 12 points to the good. He misses. Out to the right, here's a streaky kick. Here's the Gisborne product. He misses to the right-hand side. Minor score. Should have made better of it. Bombers by 7.
He's missed 2 in this quarter on the set shot. Inside the forward 50, Harry Jones left up behind as Himmelberg short to half-back to Ash. He goes long down the wing, slips through the hands of Toby Green. The Bombers win it back. Here's Parrish, hand pass to Laverty, hand ball to Merritt. He kicks out wide, boundary line, city side, and Goldstein just gets there. And the big veteran takes the mark for the Bombers. Looks inboard to Parrish. What's that, a 7-point lead for the Bombers, 29 gone, third quarter. Parrish inside 50, cold turnover, and Briggs takes the intercept mark at half-back.
Well, they need the three-quarter time siren here, the Giants, you get the feeling.
They are the best third-quarter team in the comp. They've given up a half-time lead here to fall behind on the back of a 5-goal to 2 quarter. Perryman coming out of the defensive arc, turns it over. Here's Redmond, 70 out, pokes it into the pocket. Martin takes it overhead. He was too tall and rangy for little Darcy Jones. And Nick Martin says, I'm going to have a look here. 2 steps in from the boundary in front of the Bombers race. He'll kick from about 25 out.
I love the work rate that this bloke does. Look, You talk about a halfback flanker deep in the forward pocket here, working over his opponent to get into some space and be dangerous. Really enjoy that work rate. It's the Essendon mids who are just right over the top of him at the moment, all getting involved in the scoring end.
This man off the draft, scrap heap, to all of a sudden a lethal weapon for the Bombers as he kicks goalward but misses across the goal face out to the left. And behind the Bombers, a dominant third term here, 5-3 to 2-1. The Bombers by 8 points, half-hour mark in the third quarter. It was a game that they trailed by 22 points halfway through the second quarter.
Unfortunately, they've left a few out there in this term, Essendon. They could have been a little bit further in front. Giants from the back pocket bring it in. And mercifully for them, the third quarter comes to an end. It was an Essendon onslaught in that term. The Bombers kicking 5 goals 3 to the Giants 2 goals 1 to take the lead for the first time since the opening minutes of the game, and then extend it to the 8 points at which it stands at three-quarter time. Essendon 9-9-63 to the Giants 8-7-55. The Bombers looking to make a statement, and with a quarter to go, they are well on their way. Goal kickers for Essendon, Kyle Langford has 4. All of them have come since quarter time. Jake Stringer's got 1. It was an absolute classic. Alwyn Davey Jr., Matt Guelphy, Archie Perkins and Mason Redmond with the others. Redmond's a bomb from outside 50 that gave the Bombers the lead. For the Giants, Jesse Hogan's got 2, including his 300th. Toby Green's got 2. Jake Riccardi and Darcy Jones with the others for the visitors.
Saturday footy on ABC Sport. The thoughts of Mark Murphy and Luke Ball coming up in just a moment. Plus 2 big games to look forward to tonight on the Saturday slate in round 9. It is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Over at ABC Classic, we're feeling good. And you can too by voting in the Classic 100 Feel Good. From the music that makes you dance, gives you a boost of energy, or makes you feel like anything is possible. Vote for your favourite Feel Good music now at abc.net.au/classic. What will be your number one?
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Hand pass to the running Haynes. 52 metres out. Kicks to the hot spot. Riccardi leaping up for it. No mark. Comes down towards Daniel. Still in the Giants' hands. Hand pass away to Toby Green. Gets his right peg free. Swings goalward and kicks the first of the second half.
So Kyle Langford to draw the Bombers square. He matches the famous number on his back with his 4th.
Free kick for Finn Callaghan. You can hear the reaction. Short to Canelio. Flares it to Josh Kelly. Marks, takes a bounce, closes to 48 out. Josh Kelly looks for home. Drops the hammer. Josh Kelly on the run. Puts the Giants back out in front. Time. Now pokes it inside the attacking arc. Not a good kick for Stringer. He cleans it up. Collects off a half volley and goals. The package delivers, and the scores are level.
Well, I think we all need to take a breath. It's been physically taxing, hasn't it, over the past probably 5 or 6 minutes? Just the ball going up and back and just contest after contest.
Goes out wide to right, no mark. Here's Merritt in the pocket. Merritt 30 out, half forward, goes all the way back, and Redmond from 22 points down. They conceded 5 of the first 6 goals, the Bombers, against a competition heavyweight in the Giants. The booming right foot drop point is a goal. The Bombers are in front.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Bombers have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals in the game. If you take it back a little further than that, they have actually kicked 8 of the last 11 after being 22 points down. It's Essendon by 8 as we turn for home at three-quarter time. Essendon 9-9-63, GWS 8-7-55. 2 big games tonight up in Darwin. Gold Coast are hosting North Melbourne. You can find that call through the ABC Listen app. Just look out for the AFL Extra button. And for our audience throughout the NT, you will be off to that game. For most of our other networks, it is Richmond and the Western Bulldogs at the MCG. And Matt Clinch is heading up the call. Clinchy.
Corby, Saturday night at the MCG has turned into a must-win for the Western Bulldogs against the Tigers as pressure builds on Dogs coach Luke Beveridge after the loss to Hawthorn last week. The Dogs are 3 wins and 5 losses. Chair Kylie Watson-Wheeler said on ABC Radio, "We're all disappointed and frustrated. We need to bring our best more than we are at the moment." Are they better than their rest? I would suggest, losing 4 of their last 5. They'll need to do so without Tom Liberatore tonight, while 18-year-old from Horsham, Joel Frazier, makes his debut, the 4th for the Bulldogs this year. The Tigers have lost, really since they won their first game against Sydney. Adam Uzo's first win as coach of the Tigers. But they do have some key ins tonight. Noel Bolter, Dion Prestia and Jack Graham make the return. Can they cause an upset here at the MCG? The subs for tonight, Luke Cleary for the Bulldogs and Noah Cumberland for the Tigers. We'll pick up the call after you guys with Kez Peterson and Nathan Burke, Andrew Mays and Tom Maddox down on the boundary. We can't wait. The Tigers and the Bulldogs from the MCG.
Thanks, Clinchy. Looking forward to that call next. So the latest from the MCG to follow us or for everybody else, the Gold Coast and the Roos from Darwin. We got both games covered through the ABC Listen app. Just look out for the AFL button. Game on the line here between 2 top 8 teams. The Bombers by 8 points at three-quarter time. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy on ABC Sport.
Oh, just so impressed by the way in which Essendon played in that third quarter. They were all over him, and especially around the ball. Their contest work was elite. Their centre bounce clearance work was elite. They had 5 clearances from that centre bounce compared to the Giants' 3, but it was the quality that was coming out of their ball. And then their work rate from the stoppage was far superior than the Giants. So, and they were getting dangerous too with the way in which they were using the ball too. The Essendon midfielders, it was Caldwell and Durham and Merritt, all getting very dangerous and delivering the ball inside 50. And that's what you want your prime movers to be doing is getting the ball in dangerous positions, and that's exactly what Essendon were doing then. And 19 inside 50s to 7 in that third quarter.
I'll come back to ball in just a moment. Jess Webster on the boundary. Jess?
Both subs remain unused at three-quarter time, so Ben Hobbs and Harvey Thomas are the fresh legs for either side. Also just noticed that Brad Scott, just before he went down the race into the coach's box, had an extended chat with Harry Jones on the boundary line. So massive last quarter to come, guys.
Thanks, Jess. 8-point lead for the Bombers. First hit out for Goldstein. Wins it down towards Durham. Hand pass away to Merritt. Kicks inside the full at 50. Right hands to it. No mark. Falls down to Iden of the Giants. Centre half back. Hand pass to Buckley. Handball to Taylor. Kicks out of the defensive 50. Leaping very early was Bedford. There's a whistle on the play. It's a free kick for the Bombers.
That's what I was going to add, Murph. Too many non-contributors for the Giants when you've got the numbers, and just it backs up the eye test. So Bedford, nothing from their small forwards. Stone, Riccardi's been quiet. Cadman only 2 possessions. Callahan and Daniels, no real impact to this point.
Redmond kicks in the right direction, no mark. Trying to swat it down. Whitfield straight into the path of Guelphy. Swings at goalward and he's kicked his second. And the Bombers have something cooking here. They pull further in front. From 22 down, Essendon now lead it by 14. Less than a minute into the final quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy.
Yeah, it's been a bit uncharacteristic, the Giants, just usually really wily in defence and giving up no sort of ground at all, but to have just a long, basically, kick inside 50 and to have that much space just to turn and wheel on your right foot, pretty surprising from the Giants, because it's an area of the game where they're really strong, is not just their ability to intercept and mark down there, but just to stop scores. And in this second half, they've been shown up quite heavily against the Bombers here.
Yeah, centre bounce work again, though. They've just smacked them around the ball in the last 20 minutes, the Bombers. Durham involved, Merritt. Rolfie's had the roll on Whitfield, and now he's hit the scoreboard, so that's a big win for the Bombers.
6 goals to 2 since half-time. Bombers in control at the moment. What have the Giants got left with the shoe back on their foot at the moment? Rumbles around in the centre after the restart. Tom Green just hacks it out of there with a massive handball. Daniels up presenting. Got it to Cornelio. Dumps it inside the forward 50. Oh, Bedford! Reaching up over the taller Timbers, pulled it in. It was an awkward attempt. He was at the back of it all. And somehow, with his arms outstretched, he's dragged it in 35 from home.
It was the old double foot jumper, wasn't it? Reached over the top. Look on the replay. It was the old
bit of triple jump type
old
stuff.
Draft camp vertical leap test job over Mason Redmond.
And Mackay too coming back.
Tim Membry-style, jumping off 2 feet.
Don't tell me he's got a basketball background, is he?
They all
I mentioned it. Yeah, that's right. But this is his moment, isn't it? It's been quiet tonight. Like most of the small forwards for the Giants, haven't had much of an impact. Has to kick this.
They need someone to stand up. Is Toby Bedford the man for the moment? He absolutely is. An assured set shot from the live wire forward, who finishes a great mark off with an equally good set shot for goal and drags the margin back immediately to 8 points. GWS 9-7-61, Essendon 10-9-69. Bedford's first at the 3-minute mark of the last on ABC Sport.
A couple of big efforts there in the centre circle there, Murph, from the 300 gamer, Callum Ward, putting that cement head in against, we're in harm's way really with Todd Goldstein coming the other way, and then Tom Green with his beautiful clean hands, picking it up and just belting it forward. And again, I don't mind that when you're under pressure. Yep. Don't go back. The Bombers pressure's up. Get the ball forward. Daniels was involved. And just the hack kick, a little bit of something out of nothing, but much needed goal. Keep them in it.
Game's delivered thus far. And a goal each for both teams to start this final term. Back to 8 points as it was at three-quarter time. We got another ball up in the middle as Ward is drilled in the Caldwell tackle to former teammates. Umpire chucks it up again. Goldstein palms it down. Ward tracking the footy. First one to it. Hand pass to Whitfield. Locked up by Guelphy. Holding the ball. Top 3 in the DNF a couple of years ago, Matt Guelphy. Injury interrupted last year and early in 2024. And that's what they love from him. Kicks inside the forward 50. Leaping up there was Stone. Couldn't take the mark. Falls down to Stringer. He's tackled straight away. And a ball up in the forward pocket for Essendon. The Bombers coming home to the locket end here at Docklands. An 8-point lead for the Bombers. As Jess told us a short time ago, both subs unused. 5 minutes into the final term.
Bombers coming home with the proverbial wet sail as well. Goldstein reaches over the top, knocks it down. A little bit of tunnel ball to get it out for the Giants. Iden got it to Stone. Stone drives his kick to the City side wing. In from the side was Kelly. Killed it down for Essendon. Toby Green was still a chance there. And immediately a good tackle is laid. And we'll have a ball up. Let's go downstairs to Jess.
Just on the subs, both Harvey Thomas for the Giants and Ben Hobbs for the Bombers have their warm-up tops off and they're sitting on the benches. But we haven't worked out who they're actually replacing on the field. So both teams are still yet to make that decision. But it looks like the subs will come into the game any second now.
Either that or it's just a message to the coaches. Just still here, still ready. Let's go. Make a decision. Goldstein wins a free kick from the ruck contest. Chips it forward. Perkins takes a nice mark. Been impressive today. Kicks to the edge of the 50. Kicks a bit deeper than that to Guelphy, who's had a really good second half. 2 already. And he'll kick from the very top of the arc.
Well, he's had the job on Whitfield for majority of the day, and Whitfield got caught up on the mark and just smart drifting forward into some space, and really good use again from Perkins. You just love to have the ball in his hands if you're an Essendon supporter. Usually makes the right call. Really slick by hand or foot. Guelphy an opportunity to get his second in this final term.
Yeah, I mean, Whitfield's had moments, but only the 15 possessions, and if he kicks this, it's a big win.
100th game next week for Matt Guelphy, and his third gives the Bombers fans something to really celebrate. He drives it through from downtown, and Essendon back out by 14 points. 11-9-75. The Giants 9-7-61, and it's hearty applause for the West Australian as he makes his way to the bench.
A really popular player with the fans. You can hear the appreciation also internally at the club, and Brad Scott, no hesitation, just getting him straight back in the team. Just so reliable. Give him a job, you know he'll do it, he'll stick at it. Some of his tackles today have been brilliant, and now he's been able to bob up and get the rewards on the scoreboard as well, which is a real bonus, obviously, to get 3 goals from Matty Guelphy. So I have the answers at the moment, the Bombers.
When you've got that role as a half-back playing, or half-forward playing on the half-back, you just need to get dangerous and get into some space where it is your opportunity. He's done that really smartly today.
6-goal swing in this game from 22 down to 14 up. The Bombers start of the final term. Off the square, Caldwell, hand pass to Merritt. The Dons going forward again. Gives it to Durham. Kicks straight down the pipe. Langford the target, no mark. Haynes had a piece of it, falls to ground, gives it to Iden. Trying to wrestle it from him is Gresham, and the umpire says, I'll have it. A ball up. 30 out from the Bombers goal. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Decision's been made on the Giants bench, so Connor Stone's come out of this game. Harvey Thomas to come into it as a sub.
Forward 50 stoppage for Essendon. Critical moment for the Giants here as Goldstein palms it down. Callaghan tackled, taken to ground by Langford, and a ball up in the same spot. 30 out from the Bombers goal. It is Essendon by 14 points, 8 minutes into the final term.
And they're inside forward 50 here. Briggs bashes it outside the defensive arc for the Giants, but it'll come back in. Hind to Mackay. And now to Merritt on a wheeling run. Kicks to the pocket, looking for Wright. Oh, Taylor had to go through his hands. Out the back, chasing it to the boundary line was Langford. Couldn't keep it in. And we'll have it tossed back in left forward pocket for the Bombers. 11-9-75 to the Giants, 9-7-61. Joel Peterson, Corbin Middlemass with you on ABC Sport. Luke Ball, Mark Murphy, your experts. Jess Webster on the boundary. Big Saturday night footy ahead. In the closing stages here. A nice entree at the stoppage. Stringer came cruising through. Couldn't take it with him. Cornelio's handball over his head. Now Haynes still inside the defensive 50, the Giants. Whips it out wide to Whitfield. He slices the kick up the outer side wing. Mark pulled in by Bedford. Just behind halfway for the Giants.
Bombers trying to go to 6.5 wins on the season. And that will put them half a game in front of GWS on the premiership table if they win today. High stakes. Kick goes down the wing. Davey had it, lost it, picked up by Tom Green. Kicks out to half forward, and here's Riccardi. Takes the mark, dabs the kick into the forward pocket. Toby Green the target. Jake Kelly punches it out of bounds. And a throw in 25 metres around from the Giants' goal. 9 gone final term. Essendon by 14 points.
It's not happening for Toby at the moment, is it? I'd put him on the ball, Murph. I'd give him a run for 5 minutes on the ball to see if he can make something happen. It's just not falling for him for the ball. That was great stuff from Jake Kelly.
Opportunity inside the arc here for the Giants. Daniels goes to ground, picks it up. Then gets to his feet, kicks to the pocket. Riccardi bashes it back in field. Bedford had it. Slipped the handball to Hogan. Hogan to Callaghan. Wheels around, left foot kick. 40 out. Can't straighten up enough. Can't straighten up at all. He's missed the barn as Finn Callaghan out of bounds on the full. And it'll be brought back into play off the last line for the Bombers by Kelly.
It's pressure again. After that first quarter, the Bombers have lifted the pressure rating. They're top 4 in the comp and they have dialed it up. Just keep turning up, haven't they, Murph? Just one after another, and it's just overwhelmed the Giants the longer this game's going on.
Yeah, they have, and they're winning those critical contests, aren't they? And you spoke about Green before and the ability just to find an extra yard. Kelly there just working back hard. Just at very worst, causing those to be 50-50s. That's what they're doing really well at the moment, the Bombers.
Kelly's long kick punched out of play. Throw in left half forward for the Giants.
Briggs wins it down, but to Nick Cox, and then Briggs becomes the tackler, forces the ball out. Ward, hand pass inside 50. Here's Caldwell, tackled by Bedford. Held up. The ump says, I'll have it. Benny Holtz, who's had the warm-up top off. He's had it back on. He's got it off again. Looks like he's waiting to come into the game. We'll get down to Jess in a moment. Free kick here, a ruck infringement going against Goldstein. Over the shoulder on Briggs, and he'll get it for the Giants here at half forward. About 45 metres out. He's on a tight angle. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Yeah, you're right about Ben Hobbs. He's been eager to get into this one. I saw the paperwork being handed in. It's got Alwyn Davies' number on it, but they can't get him off the field. So Ben's just had to take a seat. But once they get Alwyn Davies off the ground, that'll be the substitute.
Gee, no Bomber really stands the mark. Briggs gets some extra real estate, and his drop punt hits the post. Gee, they let him get forward a fair bit there. Briggs putting from probably beyond his range to all of a sudden within goal-kicking distance. And a whip to the post helped the Bombers there. The Dons by 13 points, 12 gone, final quarter, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
And the cat on the hot tin roof has been released. Ben Hobbs is out there for the Bombers with Alwyn Davey making his way off the ground. Kelly at the edge of the defensive 50 for Essendon. Kicks up the city side wing, right in the marking contest. Brought it down. Iden was there. His handball went amiss. Picked up by Gresham of the Bombers. A bounce as he runs through right half forward. Sends it inside the forward 50. Hobbs made some space. Out the back is Hind. Running back toward goal. He takes it to the house. And the Bombers are well on their way to a victory they will savour. 12-9-81 to the Giants, 9-8-62. It's the biggest lead Essendon have had in the ball game. And we're 12 minutes through the final term on ABC Sport.
Just then again, just not getting the basics right, just the release of the ball where it should have just been another stoppage, shouldn't it? The Giant play was tackled. I think it was Iden.
Don't let it out the back.
Just bobbled free, and then Gresham was straight out the front door, and almost a bit of a taste of your own medicine to the Giants. Just get one out the back, and it was Hind who, as you mentioned earlier, Bull, he's been playing a pretty important role and competed really hard all day. Just got one out the back. And he's just a hard runner, isn't he? And get some reward for all that hard work.
Crowd well and truly involved. They are roaring their approval at the moment. A 19-point lead for Essendon. Tom Green first possession at the restart. Hand pass to Bedford off the wing. Back to Tom Green. Feeds it forward by hand to Daniels. Hits up, claims it for the Giants. Hand pass to Ash. He can kick them inside 50. Here's Hogan. Hits up, no mark. Spills down to Callaghan. There's a free for Hogan. It's coming back. Over the shoulder, and he'll get the kick here at right half forward. He doesn't have the trip in him. Lays it off to Himmelberg. Double H from long range. Not a good finish. Doesn't even have the trip, and in the end it rolls through for a behind. In fact, the behind won't count. There's a push in the air and a marking contest going against Toby Green. It'll be a free kick for Jake Kelly. No change to that score. The Bombers by 19. And the Giants are the team that needs something dramatic from here. 13 and a half gone. Final turn. ABC Sport.
Kelly's been good today. Kicks outside the defensive 50. Jones was up in the air for the Bombers. Couldn't drag it in. Buckley's there for the Giants at right half forward. Handball inside the forward 50. Darcy Jones is there for GWS. His handball slapped out of play. Again, Hind and Jones tangling. That's been an entertaining duel between the two speedsters this afternoon. Nick Hind maybe just suggesting his last involvement of the game was the most telling either of them have had so far. Ball to be spun back in, 45 metres around from the GWS goal. They need to get moving and do so in a hurry. Both rucks slip over. Cadman got a boot to it while he was sprawled out on the ground. Callaghan's handball forward. Knocking it on was Green. Didn't get much purchase on it. Wright's there for the Bombers. Farmed it up only to Cornelio. Right forward pocket for GWS. Pinched by Perkins. He got it to Heppel. Along the boundary line for Kelly. Measured it nicely for Guelphy, who's been paid the mark. Himmelberg can't believe it. He is incensed. But Matt Guelphy's dragged it in just inside the boundary line at left half back for Essendon. Up by 19 points. He's kicked 2 goals here in this final term.
She's 15 minutes old already. Guelphy goes long down to half forward. Hands on it from Iden. Hits the deck. Hobbs trying to break it up. Caldwell goes in to win it. Got it out to Heppel. Hand pass to Stringer. A little fumble. Running out of room. Hangs it inside the boundary line. Up says play on. Handball along the half forward line. Back in dispute. Wright whacks it away. Hobbs lays a heavy tackle in there and the ball held in. The ump says, I'll have it. And we've got a ball up 60 metres out from the Essendon goal. Josh Kelly gets up with the footy. 300th game for Kel Ward. The Giants hoping to celebrate a milestone. They've given up a 22-point lead. They're now 19 behind.
Stoppage, it's slapped out toward the boundary line. Ben Hobbs is dragged down. A Horsham product. One of his fellow locals, Joel Frazier, to debut tonight for the Bulldogs at the MCG. Much of our audience headed there where they take on Richmond on ABC Sport this evening. North Melbourne, Gold Coast the other game. High kick up the line from Ash. Heppel almost pulled it in. Ward, in fact, Cal Ward and Toby Green are over the top of the pack. Nick Hines slowly making himself to his feet. And we will have a ball up in front of the interchange gates. Bombers by 19 points, trailed by 22 early in the second term. We're 16 gone in the last.
Cadman rucking, right outpoints him, and Josh Kelly fumbles out of play with the pressure from Hobbs. Boundary throwing. Just getting a look at the pressure gauge rating, which we love. Both teams classified in the elite category. The Bombers at 246.
Wow.
190 is considered pretty good, isn't it?
Off the scale.
Record.
When does the gauge break?
Wow. Red hot, the Bombers trying to make a statement here under the roof at Docklands. There's a heavy tackle to underpin their afternoon as Durham locks up Cornelio.
Yeah, and he's driven the change too this season. I think it's been building, hasn't it? But Sam Durham and Jai Caldwell, some new names that have gone through the middle of the ground. Archie Perkins, the rest of them have just jumped on board.
Right, wins the head out down to Hobbs. He's tackled, lost it. Ball comes out half forward for the Bombers. Heppel extracts it to Parrish. Kicks back into the corridor. They all chase after it. Competing in the air, Cox, no mark, hits the deck, falls to Langford. He's tackled as he sits up with the footy, and the ump says, I'll have it. And a ball up, 48 metres out, right half forward for the Bombers. Essendon by 19 points. We've seen a 41-point swing in this game. 17 gone, final turn.
Bombers trying to leapfrog the Giants on the premiership table in this 9th round of the season. Up they go immediately. Cadman lays the tackle on Hobbs. A couple of last season's draftees in the first round. Big country boys from the Greater Western Victoria Rebels at the stoppage. Through it goes to Parrish. He tumbles it around the body and finds Stringer, who rumbles up out of the goal square, hugs it to his chest. 25 out directly in front.
It's been really mature the last 2 or 3 minutes. And just every contest has been kept in tight. So they're getting repeat stoppages and then also finding that space on the outside with an outlet handball. And then on occasion it was Parrish who found some space. But this bloke playing in front, he's their spark, he's their energy.
He won't miss this one.
The roof's going to get lifted here.
Yeah, he loves these opportunities.
Jake Stringer to make it a 25-point ball game. Chalk that one up to Al Ball, courtesy ABC Sport. He misses to the right-hand side. 20-point margin, 18 gone, final turn.
They're getting ready to dance in the Oals. The Bombers fans 20 points up against GWS. And who'd have thought after 9 weeks the Bombers would have a better record than the Giants. That's what they're trying to close out here as Buckley marks in the back pocket from the Ash kick-out, chips it short to Whitfield. And Whitfield just dabs it over the top. Back to Ash. 20-point lead for Essendon, having fallen 22 behind early in the second term. He kicks down the wing, punched away by Martin. At the drop though, Bedford still in GWS hands. Hand pass away to Hogan, he kicks back inboard and Merritt in the box seat takes a courageous mark under pressure. And he's got it at half-back. The leader of this Essendon team as he swings his kick out wide for Goldstein. Just got a touch on it, trickles out of play. A boundary throw in right on halfway, City wing. Final quarter action on ABC Sport. There's still just under 9 minutes on the game clock. Essendon by 20.
Got to the point, though, the Giants need to probably take a few risks here. They need to score at least 4 goals to win this, so might be some opportunities for Essendon to come back in their face and really score the other way.
Thoughts of Mark Murphy on ABC Sport. Consider the Giants have only kicked 3 goals since half-time. Illustrates how tough the task will be. Cadman, who did the ruck work, hooks it around the body. Ward, the 300-gamer, comes charging out at half-forward. Daniels takes it. He's taken down. Umpire waves play on. Callahan lays a good tackle. And Hind can't go anywhere.
That's the heat again, isn't it? That's the 246 pressure rating. That's just one after another. Giants just got no breathing room at all.
Glass on that gauge is really under pressure at the moment. Here's Daniels on the edge of the 50 for the Giants. Cadman paddles it inside the arc. Ward had it, lost it. Hines there again. He's made some really critical plays here in this second half particularly. Perryman's in the pack. He's dragged down by a couple, including Nick Cox. And a ball up. Front edge of the centre square. Giants into attack. They trail by 20, having led by 22 in the ball game into time on in the last.
Doing the ruck work, Cadman, but it's outpointed there by Goldstein, wins it down and yet Callahan onto it in a flash. Hand pass out to Thomas, high up and under, back towards the hot spot. They come from all directions. There's a mark and it's going to Heppel. There's a few bodies hit the deck behind that and the ump wasn't interested in any of it. As Martin takes the mark in the defensive goal square, lays it off to Heppel, running along the boundary line at half-back, kicks out towards the wing. Guelphy the target, slips through to Josh Kelly, the Giants. Hand pass to Buckley. Guelphy, great chase. Affects the kick, forces the turnover. And Laverty takes the intercept mark, half-back for the Bombers. Essendon by 20 points. 21 gone, final turn.
Giants have won 5 of the past 6 before today between these two teams. But Essendon, 3 of their 4 meetings here. Looking to make it 4 of 5 this afternoon. Kick out from Laverty toward Guelphy, who was sore and trying to make his way off the ground in among all that. Perryman just flings the handball forward, found Ward on the end of it. Bedford a handball to himself. Then it ended up with Josh Kelly. Threw a boot at it. Didn't make clean connection. Langford has it for the Bombers. Defensive hand pass to McGrath. Underground hand pass to Heppel. Back to McGrath. Now to Gresham in front of the interchange gate. Stops, props, darts away. Kicks inside the forward 50. Stringer turns back toward goal. So too does Iden. Left forward pocket. Stringer chases it. Tackles Connor Iden. Drags it in. Comes out eventually. Cadman with a play on the ball in defence for the Giants. Stringer keeps going. Keeps working. Keeps it moving. Perkins is wrapped up by Bedford. Bombers desperately trying to get another one. Giants trying to stop them with all their might. Iden just bashes it outside the defensive 50.
Flying for it is Ward. No mark. Hits the deck. Daniels onto it though. Hand pass to Perryman. Back to Ward. Trying to will his team back into the game. Hand pass out to Daniels. Bombers by 20. Time on in the last. Daniels kicks inboard. Juggled effort. Briggs. Mark not paid. Numbers with Essendon at centre half back. Mackay hands it out to Laverty. Hand pass to Hind. He kicks to Hobbs. And the Essendon faithful love that. Against a low-drawing interstate team, under the roof at Docklands. A pretty decent roll-up for the Bombers. Saturday twilight footy as Hobbs kicks down the boundary line and it'll ricochet out of bounds inadvertently off the body of Iden, and the boundary throw-in just 4 to the wing for Essendon. Bombers by 20 points. Time on final turn.
I've been impressed, Corbin. They're playing a really tough brand at the moment, Essendon. Really like what I see from them.
You just don't lose games of footy, Murph, with that sort of pressure rating.
You'll be in every game. In every game.
Yep.
Bring that.
Last 4 weeks averaged 74 points against.
Ball tossed back in. Heppel off the stoppage. Hobbs is pushed through it. Ash. Handball clear to Josh Kelly, now to Bedford. He just pats it on toward Callaghan. And Gresham was right there with him. And it's seen across the boundary line. It'll be tossed back in.
Gresham involved. They're all doing it now. That's the thing.
Contagious.
And you build that pressure within the team. If you're not going to buy in, well, someone will come in and play that role. And that seems to be the position or the culture that they're building under Brad Scott here, this Bombers team.
Underneath the ABC Sport commentary box, ball comes spinning back into play. Rucks bash it back out toward the boundary line. And it goes over and out once more. The 8-minute mark of the second term. Toby Green kicked a goal that put GWS 22 points to the good. And since that point, it has been 11 goals to 4. Essendon have run away with it. They lead by 20 points. 24 minutes gone final term. Here's Corbin Middlemass.
Briggs a hit out down to Merritt. Just kicks for territory close to the boundary line. In the end, Stringer happy to knock it out of play and a throw in between wing and half forward for the Dons. But the defensive resolve is the different bit, isn't it?
It is. But they're playing smart when they've got their ball in hand. The last 5 minutes, they haven't gone offline and played at any risk. There's no need to play at risk when you're 4 goals up. Play smart. Be tight inside the contest. Play down the line.
They've conceded only 4 goals, the Bombers, since the 8-minute mark of the second term. Completely taken over the game. 11 goals to 4 from that point on. As from the boundary throw-in, the Giants win it here. Ash kicks across the half-back line to Buckley. Looks inboard, turns it over. And Martin takes the intercept mark outer edge of the centre square. He kicks wide. Gresham hugs it to his chest, high half forward. He's not in an awful amount of hurry, as you can imagine, trying to peel the last of these seconds off the clock. He goes back to Redmond and they wax between the pair. Back to Gresham against the boundary line. Essendon by 20 points. Final 5 minutes. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Enjoying his time in the red and black is Jade Gresham. Sends it inside the 50. Wright reaches over the top. Spills to Perkins. Now Langford in the pocket. Handball back in field. Caldwell up against the boundary line. Might have been dragged off it. Bombers want a free kick. Won't get it. Iden shares it with Bedford. Scramble kick lands with Martin. 49 metres from home. Nick Martin can go back and drive through one final dagger.
Oh, this would be fitting, Murph, wouldn't it? The guy who I thought was the one in the first quarter and half, two quarters when they were under the pump, stood up and took the game on and, flicked the switch a bit, ignited this team, I think, and you can put the icing on the cake here. He's been super, Nick Martin. Again, just the pressure, though, forcing the bad kick out of defensive 50.
Martin stabs it into the pocket. He'll get a rise there from Perkins. Might be able to take the mark. Langford against the boundary line. Hooks it back to a central position. Stringer rang past it. Bounced over the head of Cox. That's no mean feat. Darcy Jones is there. Cox and Jones chase toward the boundary line. The Giant can't keep it in. Slips over as he goes across the paint. And it'll be thrown back into play. 45 metres around from the Bombers' goal. Left forward pocket. They lead by 20 points. 26.5 gone in the final term on ABC Sport. Big night of footy ahead. Richmond and the Western Bulldogs at the G. And up north, it's the Suns and the Roos.
Both games through the ABC Listen app. Just look out for the AFL button for the boundary throw-in. Goldstein wins the hit out back out of bounds. So last 5 weeks for the Bombers, they've conceded 67, 75, 85, 71, and now 62 points.
Yep, they've been stingy, and that'll get them a long way.
That hasn't been something ordinarily associated with Essendon
different
for
team.
20 years. It's fair to say as Briggs wins the hit out, but straight down to Merritt. Hand pass to Gresham, fumbles, soccers it into oncoming traffic, ricochets back to Merritt. Hand pass inside 50, Goldstein. Handball out in front of Hobbs, keeps it alive, gives it to Gresham, his hand pass and turnover. And Josh Kelly peeling off half-back for the Giants.
Handball infield to Ash. Cuts his kick aggressively on the bounce, but misses the target in Cornelio. Ends up with Heppel around the body inside the 50. Gresham dropped the mark. He just stopped to a crawl. And then it gets turned over. Thomas inside the back 50 for the Giants. Cornelio Green pops it over the top. Bedford a little shake and bake. Gets the ball on his right boot out toward the boundary line. Hogan and Mackay. Cox is there too. They will keep it in. Thomas to Ward. Back to Thomas. He darts his kick up toward half forward. Toby Green presents and takes the mark. He rolls inside the arc. His eyes light up. And his feet can't match the ambition. He finds Redmond on the behind line. Pokes it over the top to McGrath. No change to the score. Still the Bombers by 20.
7-goal swing in the game. 22 points down, 8-minute mark, or in fact as late as the 13-minute mark of the second quarter. And now with 29 minutes into the final term, final 2 minutes on the game clock, the Bombers lead the Giants by 20 points. As McGrath receives the footy, hits up powerhouse Hobbs, who marks at half-back. And the weight for his involvement today didn't come in until about the 10-minute mark of the final term. And the Dons are pretty happy just to soak this up. He retreats back to McGrath and all the way back to Laverty. They're going to be 6.5 wins, the Bombers, after 9. Just the 2 losses on the season, one to Sydney in Sydney, the other blown off the park against Port Adelaide in that second term during gather round. And outside of that, they've ticked just about every box on the way through. The draw with the Pies on Anzac Day, and they got North Melbourne next week here at Docklands.
And Richmond the week after, so it really sets up, doesn't it? First half of the year, and the supporters, aren't they loving it?
They're happy just to kick the footy around their defensive 50 here.
Well, they've ground the Giants into the dust here. They cooked the Giants. They've had enough.
Ben Mackay had it a couple of times in the chain. He hasn't beaten 9 teams in the competition. He crosses one off his list this afternoon in the Giants, who he was 0-2 against. And he gets to play against his old mob next week. I think that he'd be able to cross another one off that list. Here's Perryman for the Giants. Chips it to Tom Green. Looping hand pass forward to Bedford. Now to the run of Haynes. Haynes centering kick high inside the forward 50 through the hands of Mackay. Toby Green rushes in. Bombers have numbers there again. The representation was all black and red, but Merritt couldn't find a teammate on the end of it. Daniels now, defensive hand pass to Kelly, edge of the 50. Kelly back to Tom Green. Set up kick high inside the 50. Hogan goes up, can't mark, no free. Still inside forward 50 for the Giants. Bombers will be able to clear it eventually. Goldstein to Cox, and now to Kelly, who's at half back.
Kelly kicks down the wing for Essendon. There's no one there. Bounces in front of Perryman. And Perryman will just share it away with Tom Green. Hand pass to Iden. He gives it to Briggs. One last thrust forward for GWS. But things are looking up for Essendon. Brad Scott's Bombers leapfrog the Giants. They make a significant statement. The Bombers from 22 down to win by 20.
This grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up. The other teams they don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
GWS kicked 5 of the first 6 goals in the game. They led by 22 points at the 13-minute mark of the second term. And from that point on, in retrospect, it was all Essendon. They kicked 11 goals to 4 to finish the game, finished right over the top and made a giant statement to the competition. They take down GWS, a 20-point victory for the Bombers. They've lost only twice in 9 weeks of footy. The Bombers by 20.
See the Bombers fly up. To win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up. The other teams they don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
Significant turnaround, it must be said, from their last matchup. They lost by 126 points the last time they met. The Bombers win by 20 on this occasion. And things are certainly looking bright. If you're an Essendon fan, the Bombers by 20 points, 12-10-82, GWS 9-8-62. They'll start a prohibitive favourite against North Melbourne and Richmond in the coming weeks. They are already 6.5 wins with just 2 losses after 9 games. They're half a game ahead of the Giants, who now fall to be 6-3. Mark Murphy and Luke Ball on ABC Sport. We're on air for about another 18 minutes, so we will get the song and the reaction inside the Essendon rooms on what is a significant day for the club. It is their annual challenge game, of course, supporting children's cancer. A big week for the club. And they're able to salute and ruin the party for Cal Ward in his 300th game in charge of the Giants. Sum it up for us, Mark Murphy, Luke Ball. What have we seen here today?
Yeah, well, we should all just talk about how good Essendon were after quarter time. The Giants, and I'm not sure who the texter was that came in, said it looks like it's going to be a drubbing like it was last year, but from quarter time...
That was Simon.
The Bombers...
Reverse
jinx. The Bombers just won just a real critical contest, but it was just a contest across the ground, and the work rate was significant from everyone who was wearing the red and black tonight. It was they've impressed me. Boy. They looked like they were not they were shot at quarter time, but the Giants looked like they were just going to just run over the top and do what they've been doing at the start of this season. But the Bombers were to a man just really hungry. They just wanted to compete. We saw that for the entirety of that period after quarter time. But as both teams walk over to salute Callan Ward, and as we should, to line up to salute a champion of the game, playing his 300th today, the Essendon faithful would be very proud about the way in which their team have gone about it today.
They just make a guard of honour here that the Bombers, as they make their way on the left-hand side of that, as Cal Ward will look at it, his GWS teammates on his right, and two of his long-time teammates, Steve Cornelio and Josh Kelly, chair him off the ground. Warrior is, I think, the word that has been used almost universally by the footy community to describe Cal Ward and how perfectly it fits. 34 years of age, 17th season, a foundation giant, their inaugural captain, 300 games. And that is a rare milestone in the history of VFL AFL footy. Becomes just the 103rd to do it. The Bombers by 20 points full-time. Luke Ball.
Oh, I was going to say, twin sister Aisha down there who worked, I don't think she does anymore, but long-time employee of the Bombers. So Aisha Ward, she's down there. But all the plaudits must go to the Bombers. After quarter time, that pressure, it's unlike too many I've seen this year, Murph. And when we look at the numbers, the Giants actually matched them in a sense. Look, the Giants weren't too bad. They had a crack today. They won the contest. Their tackle numbers are up as well, but they were just overwhelmed by Essendon jumper after Essendon jumper, and that's the big difference, as we said, Corb. That's the difference this year between this Bombers team. Top four for pressure differential. Their contest work's gone through the roof as well, and they were able to get the reward for their effort ahead of the ball. I just thought they were superb. There was any question marks you had about them today. And look, I know there's a long way to go this year, but I just wrote down here, the DNA of successful teams, of teams that continually go to the well in September, make finals and win premierships. Defence pressure, big tick, double tick today, and tick for the first 9 weeks of this year, a top 4 team. Contest, midfield depth, we're seeing that. The numbers that they've been able to put in there with Durham and Caldwell, and Merritt's just playing career best footy. He's leading from the front. Didn't have his most possessions today, but a massive influence on the game after half time. And then attack and firepower. It's still a work in progress for them as well. But when Stringer gets going, when Langford starts to play the way he's playing, Gresham's been a really good inclusion from that point of view. They're starting to build that as well. And Peter Wright, I just thought he competed today. Again, didn't hit the score, didn't have a big day, but the difference in his year this year is his ability to impact the game without having to take contested marks and kick scores. And you're right, you said it, to a man. They all lifted, they all dialed up that pressure, and if they can bring that every week, they're going to be hard to beat. And you just win. You don't lose many games when you play like that, Murph.
Matt Guelphy kicked 3 goals, 4 for Langford, and then 1 each for Perkins, Stringer, Redmond, Davey and Hine. While for GWS, 2 for Toby, 2 for Jesse Hogan, including his 300th, 1 each for Darcy Jones, Bedford, Kelly. That's Josh Kelly, Riccardi and Connor Stone. You may have seen when Matt Guelphy kicks his 3 goals today, he turned to the crowd and sort of...
the nail polish done.
Yes, and basically sort of, would you say, twinkled his fingers? How would you best describe that towards the crowd? Now, the Bombers have been working closely with kids this week with cancer, with their Children's Foundation Challenge. And one of the girls that he met during the week basically said, "Can you paint your nails red and black?" And he kept his promise, and every time he kicked the goal today, he was showing off his red and black nail polish towards the sick kids, of course, that the Bombers worked with so closely during the week. They cop a lot of hits, footy club. Some they deserve, some they don't, but they do an enormous amount of work in this space, and this is something that is particularly close to the Bombers, and it's so well executed every year.
Yeah, they do. All AFL clubs do it really well, and I love seeing some of the footage this week of the Essendon players really embracing the young kids who are going through a really tough time and their families battling cancer, and just to shine his fingers like that would have given those kids who asked for his fingernails to be painted a real smile, no doubt.
And it's genuine. You can see it actually means something to the players. Of course it means something to the kids and to the families, but when it means something to the players, that makes it all the more important.
I heard he's going to join us, which is good news. So looking forward to hearing from Matt Guelphy in a few moments' time. The Bombers by 20 points, a significant result. We spoke this morning, Bally, about just how flat this season is. We saw a statement by Port Adelaide. If you think Geelong is a bridge too far for any team in the competition, they answered that emphatically, and the Bombers today proving their legitimacy with a big win over the Giants. Jess Webster is in the winners' rooms. Jess.
Thanks, Corby. The players making their way in now. Really wonderful scenes down here. Of course, as we know, it is the challenge cancer game for Essendon today, and there are a number of young Bombers fans who either have cancer or unfortunately affected by cancer in some way, who are joining the players to sing the team song as we speak. So about a dozen or so kids have linked arms with the players, and they're going to sing the song now.
Say the Bombers fly up to win the premiership flag. Woo! Our boys who play this great old game are always striving for glory and fame. Hey. See the Bombers fly up, the other teams that don't fit in. They will try their best, but they can't get in as the Bombers fly up. Woo!
An amazing end to a wonderful week at the club, Corb.
Absolutely. A big, broad circle with all the kids from Challenge that were part of that theme song with the Bombers. What a week it's been for the Essendon Football Club. And this is a side that had their pants pulled down in gather round by Port Adelaide. And from that point on, they've beaten the Western Bulldogs on Friday night. They went back to Adelaide, down the Crows, drew with the reigning premiers, beat West Coast, last gasp of victory over in Perth, albeit one that they led pretty much start to finish. And then here today, they win by 20 points. They did it a different way again. They came from behind, falling 22 down to finish over the top. The winners today, Hawthorn by 5 points over St Kilda, 2 upsets, and Essendon by 20 points here over GWS.
So 4 games between the top 8 in the early part. The 3 of those have been won by the lower ranked side, So Carlton over Melbourne, and then of course today, and then Port Adelaide over Geelong last night.
It is such a flat premiership race, which is awesome. And the team that sits on top is Sydney, so they're 7-1. And the one in that record is Richmond.
Yeah.
Can't beat anybody else. It's just just an amazing year so far.
No, as it stands, the Bombers, if they play like that, they'll finish top 4. There's a big opportunity for them, I think. I don't even care about the draw. If they play like that, it doesn't matter who they play. As you said, Corb, the way it's panning out, no team can withstand that amount of pressure. The challenge is, can they bring it every week? And we know that is a challenge, and there'll be stages throughout the year where that's going to be questioned, and that might drop off a bit, and that's where you need a deep list. You need the reinforcements to come in and be able to maintain that rage. But I just wrote down here, that last minute, you can bet your bottom dollar Brad Scott will show that last minute of footy. The game was done and dusted, but their ability, it looked like the Giants 3 or 4 times were going to score easily. Their ability to scrap and fight was unbelievable.
Bombers by 20 points. Let's get back into the winners' rooms. Jess Webster's down there. Jess.
Thanks, Corby. Here with Matt Guelphy after a really hard-fought and satisfying win it must be against a really quality outfit. To do that in front of a vocal home crowd today, you must be really pleased with the performance.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive by the boys to fight that out, especially when it was close and they were beating us. I struggled at the end. I was cramping up. So second game back, it's good to get through it.
Absolutely, and I want to ask you, of course, about your bright red nails that you've painted this big a special week for the club, and you spent some time with a young fan, Alexis, and you've just seen a photo that your media team showed you after your celebration today. She was celebrating in her hospital bed. Can you tell me about what happened during the week and the story behind the celebration today?
Yeah, so we went to the Children's Hospital, and lucky enough, Alexis painted my nails. I told her I'd kick her a goal for her, and when I was lining up for that first one, I just remember her saying, "I believe in you." So it was really special. I was a bit worried I wasn't going to kick a goal for her, but happy to kick a couple for her.
Absolutely. You got 3 at the end of the day. Matt Guelphy with us on ABC Sport. I'll send you upstairs to our experts, Mark Murphy and Luke Ball.
Oh, Guelph, it's Bally. Well done, mate, on and off the field. That's a great story this week and fantastic performance as well. Just tell us a little bit about your role this afternoon. It looked like you were the one that was trying to get to Lachie Whitfield. We know what he does for the Giants team, and you certainly took the points there. Is that how it played out today?
Yeah, just trying to stop his transition. We know how damaging Lachie Whitfield is, and he's a star of the game. So, yeah, try to do that. Was struggling towards the end. He's, very fit. So, I was just happy to do my part for the team.
And then, mate, the pressure today, and that's been one of the big... It's been building. Your top 4 pressure team this year, and it's one of the, the big changes that we've seen, especially after quarter time, the defence, the Giants. You were just relentless and overwhelmed them in the end. And I think you personally have been one player over the last 3 or 4 years that have really driven that and embodied that. And now it looks like, with Durham and Caldwell and your skipper leading the way, that everyone's jumping on board. Is that fair?
Yeah, thanks, Bully. You were a part of that, obviously. But, that's where we start as forwards. Start with our pressure and the rest will come. We'll speak about the rest, but as long as that pressure's there, we can build off that.
Matt, Mark Murphy, congratulations on your personal game today. I reckon you might feature in Ballie's votes today, which is well deserved. But just the crowd in that last 5 minutes when you had basically worn out the Giants and they couldn't go with you and you were kicking the ball around. What's the feeling like when you know you've got the game wrapped up? Yeah. And the faithful losing their minds, standing up and applauding. Yeah,
we're so lucky to have the Bomber faithful. They're so loud, especially in Marvel. It gets so hot in there because they're screaming, jumping. It's like a sauna in there. So, we hear them every week.
And in terms of the year as a whole, what do you think's achievable? Are you getting... I know you won't go out there and say we're going to play finals and you'll hose it all down, but surely your best is good enough to really challenge the top teams this year.
Yeah, we certainly think our best is good enough. But, Scotty just keeps us focused every week on to the next one. So, won't give you too much there.
Matt, good on you. Really appreciate your time and enjoy the victory.
Thanks so much, guys.
Matt Guelphy in the victorious Essendon rooms. You mentioned top 4, Bally, and it's a good point, and one that I've spoken about an awful lot discussing Essendon over the last 20 years. A lot is made of the fact they haven't won a final since 2004, and they've got the Twitter account of the days streak since they last won, and it's all a big joke and everything else. But it's almost, the story's missed somewhat where people focus on the fact they haven't won a final. They haven't actually been, they don't qualify in a position that gives them the best chance to win one. So since 2004, these are their final series. They've made 6 of them. 2009, 8th. 2011, 8th. 2014, 7th. 2017, 7th. 2019, 8th. And 2021, 8th. So they're often an underdog. They're, on occasions, a road team.
Yep, travelled a couple of those, yep.
And they find themselves as an outsider in an elimination final. If you don't qualify at least 6 and above, preferably top 4, you're actually not even giving yourself the best chance to try and win one. So 6 trips to the finals. It's fallen at the first hurdle on every occasion. But surely from here in this foundation, 6.5 wins after 9, it's got to be 6 and above. Give yourself an actual chance to be able to win a final.
Well, the win-loss will just take care of itself. As I said, they're really just starting to build that finals DNA, that, prelim, going deep sort of finals DNA, which we know their coach has got running through his veins. We know that as a player and certainly experienced that as a coach as well. So we're really starting to see the team morph into a version of their coach in a sense, aren't they? And the way he used to play. And there's certain. It's a personnel thing, but there's just a team mindset thing as well that's taken over this club.
Say what you want about the Essendon edge. There was a lot made about it earlier in the season. Whatever you want to call it, it's working.
Well, and I think it's a great point you raise, and I think it got misconstrued as the push and shove and the stuff that happens between quarters or going after a play. What it is what we saw today. That's what I'd be showing. Again, that last minute, that's what I'd be showing. When the game's done and dusted and everyone's out in their feet, merit a 30-metre chase just to get a hand in. I can't remember who it was, but the 30-metre sprint to get to the spoor when it looked like a serve. That's what the Essendon edge is. Don't worry about the other stuff. That's nonsense. That takes care... That's stuff that's performed a lot of the time by teams that aren't in the mix, that aren't having a crack. So I'm just so impressed, and I think that, the sky's the limit for them this year.
They show, or they measure up, show their legitimacy today, the Bombers, with a big come-from-behind victory. 22 down to beat the Giants by 20. Paul from Dalesford, the last of our texters for the time being. Murph, putting it out there, what about a Carlton and Bombers grand final?
I would love that. We'd love that, Paul.
Should we sign off on that now?
Look, I'm happy to. I think everyone here in this stadium would probably sign up for that too. There probably wouldn't be too many Giant supporters here, so no doubt there would be a lot of Essendon.
Would anyone, apart from Carlton and Essendon supporters, sign off on that? I think there's supporters of 16 other teams that would go, oh, no.
37,295 in the house to see it, the majority of them in red and black, and a big day for Essendon. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year.
One vote to Matty Guelphy, the man we just spoke to, and love hearing that, especially actually almost bumped him up to 2 after that story about what he did. Yeah, about what he did during the week. But he's a really important player for them. He's one of those guys that the coach just has the magnet in his hand as soon as it's time to pick the team. He's a beauty. Second game back, as he said, and his job on Lockie Whitfield and his ability to hit the scoreboard in a pretty low-scoring, tough game was superb. 2 votes to Kyle Langford, who kicked 4 himself. It was a great battle, wasn't it? I mean, you wouldn't say that Buckley and Taylor had poor days. They were actually quite influential. But again, in a game where 12 goals to 9 and they conceded, they were 4 down at quarter time. Langford's second quarter was one that, along with the guy who's going to get 3 votes, started to turn the tide for the Bombers, and that man was Nick Martin. Again, what a find he's been. Corb, one of your favourites, I know, and he just continues to build his game, and he's versatile. Today it was across half-back. He spent a bit of time up on the wing, but what a player he's becoming for the Bombers.
3 for Martin, 2 for Langford, 1 for Guelphy, the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. The Bombers leapfrogged the Giants on the premiership table, a significant result in the context of the season. So some big statements made in the top 8 tussles we've seen so far. Carlton defeating Melbourne by a point to get back in the winners list. Port Adelaide by 6 over Geelong. We had Sydney against a Fremantle team that I think we're all willing to give a mulligan to, given the emotional week that it was for them. And that shouldn't be lost too when discussing GWS, given the passing of Cam McCarthy, who so many of them shared so many wonderful moments with, gone way too soon at 29. The Bombers winners by 20 points. And the other result today was a 5-point victory for Hawthorn. So Sydney a game clear on top, a game then ahead of Geelong. And then as the premiership table sits at the moment, the Bombers fly up it. They find themselves in third provisionally as it sits at the moment with 6.5 wins. We've still got a whole lot of footy to come. Some fascinating games. Richmond and the Western Bulldogs at the MCG for much of the network. For those in the NT, you're off to Gold Coast and North. If you want to listen to any game at any time, the ABC Listen app is the place to find it, where you can simply look for the AFL button. If you're on News Radio, you're headed back to the network. And for those of you on ABC Radio, on DAB Plus, except Perth, you're also going to the network as well. Thanks to Joel, to Jess downstairs, to Mark Murphy, to Luke Ball, to Con for all his work at the controls, and also to Adam Jones, the cult figure, back in the studio. We're all off in different directions, but the bit you need to know, the Bombers winners by 20 points over the Giants.